Water is the softest and most yielding substance, yet nothing is better than water for overcoming the hard and rigid, because nothing can compete with it. Lao Tzu.
Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave.
say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Yeah. 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 Memories. Memories. Yeah. Memories. Memories.
Esports trying to find what angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We're gonna go through on this. Oh, what a roll! Whoa! White gonna go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. All of this competition could be so damn close, so I cannot wait for us to finally decide who's going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
Beast Mode has killed 3. Only gonna really need that rampage, so it's gonna clear it out. Santi gonna get themselves a big old 4K. Santi's getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Nunji actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now Saga is hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Post bomb's gonna stick under Linky. They're not gonna be able to survive it at the end of the day. Manages to find a 3K.
Rio shoving this Ana into a corner. Woo! One more for the road for Rio.
That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3. Melophobia starting the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Beagle Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy. Popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The 4th one as well. Do they get the ace? They get the ace.
Hello and welcome to CGL, where you join us on a very busy day. 1 EU game already in the books and a fair few more here in NA to see out a great day for Overwatch here as we see UTD Zenith versus Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts here in the lower bracket quarterfinals of NA Masters. I'm joined today by Mega Ninja 44. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I've been able to watch a little bit of Unwoke Yaoi play in the past. A really solid team. I mean, nobody really expected them to be down here this early on. They got edged out by Aura Fury in the upper bracket, and so now they're down here playing for their life. I mean, both of these teams, the number 2 and number 4 seeds, nobody really expected them to be in this position automatically. So you know, one of these teams is going to be going home today, and both of these teams still fighting for a chance to go to that grand finals. I mean, it's a very busy day for CGL. I mean, right now at the exact same time, Dire Triggers and Cosmic Eclipse are duking it out on the number 1 or on the oh wait, did that one already happen? Oh no, it's 2-0 right now. Yeah, you're right. And then of course we can take a look at the other schedules. Cuddle Puddle and Virtus Pronouns Academy. You're watching UTD Zenith versus Unwoke Yaoi enthusiast right now, and then Diamonds versus Team Prosperous. So a very busy CGL day. But you know, the more Overwatch, the better, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And a chunky schedule is never a bad thing. Just more Overwatch for you to watch with us. But we saw a sneak peek of that bracket just a moment ago and seeing how these two teams have gotten into this situation. UTD Zenith knocked down to the lower bracket by Cosmic Eclipse, who are playing in that other game over on CGL1. But they've had a bit of a ride through this lower bracket, a couple of 3-1s to make it through back to here and taking out EMP No Match Found and Blackout Eclipse. On the other side, Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts, like you said, just being edged out by Aura Fury, being taken down to that lower bracket. So their first game here in this lower bracket, now fighting for their lives as they look to make it forwards to that lower semi-final.
Yeah, no, it is Unwoke's very first appearance here in this lower bracket. UTD Zenith have been here before. This is their 3rd match here. They've been here since the beginning almost. They did take down Fallen Vortex in the winners round 1, but winners round 2 did not go their way. And so now the winner of this one will go against the winner of whoever wins between Dire Triggers and Cosmic Eclipse. And then, of course, you can see winners round 4, Shoes Production Crew versus Aura Fury. So from the looks of it, it looks like Dire Triggers and Unwoke might get a chance to look at a rematch for Aura Fury. But, of course, there's a lot of outcomes that can still happen. I'm hoping to watch a really good series of Overwatch. I do believe that both of these teams have the potential to make this a map 5. Of course, there is like a small advantage, I think, for Unwoke. But I genuinely do think it could go either way, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, these two teams coming in with a lot of pedigree and not expecting to see them here, but UTD having gone down to that lower bracket, it might just be the kickstart that they need to take the edge off. As you said, Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts slightly higher in terms of seeding coming into this, but when you're coming off of a couple of wins, instead of just being knocked down to this lower bracket, it can really help you to galvanize yourselves in the face of a team that might be slightly better, at least coming into the situation that both of the teams find themselves in.
Yeah, also I have to mention really quickly, I don't think these teams have actually gone against each other before. So both of these teams not going to really be able to have any experience in the head-to-head matchup. So that could definitely make things interesting. And also the fact that Unwoke, since they just got sent here, they their most recent game was a loss. It was a 2-3 series. And UTD Zenith have been on a tear. They've been winning their last 2 series against Blackout Eclipse and EMP and No Match Found. So it really could be going either way. I'll be honest with you. Just kind of depends on momentum, as either of these teams could really, take it however far they need to.
Yeah, but you see these two teams are really going to be up for this matchup, as we are going to be heading to Nepal first. The choice of Unwoke to start off this matchup, as they have come down from the lower bracket, the upper bracket, into this game. And Nepal, we think, suits their playstyle a little bit more. We were discussing this pre-stream. We reckoned that we were heading here, but you don't always find exactly what you think you were going to see, especially when a team can get a little bit desperate heading down to the lower bracket.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Nepal is not one of the more common chosen control maps. I think a lot of the times we do see more of Lijiang Tower, but Nepal, a nice breath of fresh air, and so Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts going to be the ones to get that first ban on the board. If I had to take an option, there are definitely some meta shifts happening in the world of Overwatch, except for that backline, of course. Kiri Lucio is always strong in the current meta. I think unless you ban a Kiri Lucio, that's the backline we'll be seeing today. But that could be a ban that you're looking at if you're Unwoke, if you're not comfortable on maybe that Kiriko, you want to run like a Bap Lucio, you take the Kiriko off the board. But I like to use those first bans kind of as a dipping the toes in the water, and the Reaper ban is going to come through. That's kind of not allow that Zarya Reaper composition that's so incredibly strong at the moment to come out for this first map.
Absolutely, and especially as you said, these two teams have not faced up against each other, so they're going to be trying to work things out against each other in the server. Of course, you can go back and scout what you've seen teams do previously, but it's a lot different seeing them play on a live stream as opposed to playing them in the server. And you're going to want to try and work out exactly where you want to ban. The Hazard coming out on the other side, a tank that has seen a bit of a switch up after moving to that different sub role. Passive really, really helping get Hazard back into the playing pool, but not on Nepal at the very least. And I don't know, what do you think about these two? I think the Reaper just a standard ban at the moment, and I saw that has a ban earlier in EU, so I feel like this is pretty consistent with just trying to work out what you want to play rather than trying to ban out what the opponents are going to play.
Yeah, I do think that, I was saying this before that first ban came through beginning. I like to use these first bans for this first map, especially when you don't know what a team likes to run. Just kind of get a feeling about what they do want to run. You take something off of the board that's, a strong option, and just kind of see what they run with in response. And then you can start focusing what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. If there's first match, if they don't run out on that Zarya composition, then, you're going to be like, okay, we can maybe try to force them in that mirror in map number 2. So I think these are pretty standard bans, could kind of be telling, but we do get to take a look at the lineups here. I'll just do Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts real quick. Wubs and Virological Clamp on the side of the DPS, Cloud Lemon on that tank, Foxy and Water Lily in that backline. A really solid lineup.
Absolutely. And on the other side, UTD Zenith, hi, you are good. Wildcard, Cole Sanders, Sawale, and Who Dare. So both teams with a solid matchup. And you can see the two tanks favor the Winston, at least in terms of the favored tank character. But we'll see if that comes through on the server or whether it's just going to be something that's like, hey, we like playing the Winston, but in this meta, maybe not.
Yeah, I do think that sometimes the preferred heroes are a little bit of a I'm not gonna say like a bait, but I do think that the preferred heroes are sometimes never run. I mean, we saw that Bastion could be
Yeah.
coming out. Cat Bastion has been seeing a little bit more playtime, but I don't know if they'll be comfortable running it. We'll have to find out, of course. It is interesting. It is difficult to think about what will be played. There's so many different options, right? You can run the Diva composition. I think Diva's incredibly strong right now. You could run that Zarya, try to bubble somebody. Not going to be the Reaper this first map, but could bubble a Tracer, allow them to get into that back line. There is a world in which Winston is played. Maybe you run a dive composition, especially on Nepal. I think it's definitely an option that can be run. You could run. Oh goodness, what else? You could run the ball composition. I've seen a couple of teams. If you have a ball like on your team, I think that a ball is a pretty solid choice for Nepal. But that's kind of like if you don't have it, you don't want to touch it at all, or if you do have it, then you're going to run it for the rest of the time. So there definitely could be some interesting compositions coming out here. I think the Hazard and Reaper bands are pretty solid and pretty standard. And we'll probably be able to tell going into map number 2 what kind of compositions they like more.
Yeah, absolutely, and there's a lot of ways that you can go about getting around these bans that have come in. It's not as if it's going to stop everything on the table. You have to play this situation exactly. It's only a couple of heroes that are off the board, and as we head into Nepal, I'm so excited to see what these two teams decide to run out on.
Yeah, I do think for the sub map, I do think it does favor the brawl composition a little bit harder. So yeah, we'll be seeing we'll see the Ramatra from the side of Zenith. I think Ramatra has been seeing a little bit more since that Vortex change got put into the base kit. But Unwoke going to be running on that Diva. Also very interesting to see that backline from Unwoke. I don't know if they'll be running out, as I never like to say anything before the doors open. But if they are going to be running out on that, it'll definitely be interesting to see. I do know that Wub's very talented on that Hanzo, and the Mei also, if that is an option. But yeah, it looks like these backlines are going to be coming out. This is a very interesting look from Unwoke.
Yeah, they're going to be able to pump out damage from those supports, but we'll see if it will work to their favor or not. Wub's just trying to get some damage in as wildcard. Backing up on the other side, making sure that there's not too much of a sightline onto the objective. But now with that Discord orb going to be down so low and under pressure from Virologic Clamp, and eventually it is going to be the Shimada brother taking out the Genji now, looking towards further into the back line. The Hanzo, you said already that there was some ability on this Hanzo, and the 2 DPS cleaning house at the moment, it's exactly worked in their favor, and already 71 to Dragons.
Yeah, it's not a very common pick to see that Hanzo come out very often, but Wubs, I mean, they love making it work wherever they can, just finding random headshots. I like to think that Hanzo is like kind of a gambling character when it comes to getting picks, and so these DPS are definitely going to be ahead in terms of ult charge going into this next fight.
Absolutely, and you can see it already up to 88%, nearing 90, but forced to back away from Cole Sanders, just backing up on the Ramatra, but the headshots rain down once more. Wubs just making it work on this Hanzo. Once again, just finding everything needed. Now the Dragons invested as well into that tight corridor. Going to be taking down Swail, and even going down is still going to find the kill onto Cole Sanders. 4 on the fight for Wubs, and I mean, they were not prepared for this Hanzo on the other side.
I mean, this Hanzo is just a problem. You try your best with that Ramatra in order to run them over, and eventually you do get that, but by then it's too late. The fight's been won, and so now Unwoke have a huge advantage. I mean, they're already halfway to having the point captured entirely, and they have a... And they have a lot of ults coming online. So Zenith have to change something up. They're going to be going to that Winston, try to dive the Hanzo a little bit more, but I don't know if I love that. Maybe you need to go over to the Diva to make it happen.
You try and get in onto the objective, but no jump away, and Waterloo is just able to burst you down with that amplification. Matrix now looking to find something else on the fight, but Wildcard able to get one back, in the DPS of UTD Zenith trying to drag them back into this fight. They are able to do it as well, finding a few kills. It's still Cloud Lemon and Wubs still on the objective, but the Hanzo so low, can't help out the Diva, and now with that focusing beam is going to go down. The DPS still trying to claw them back into this for UTD Zenith. Carl Sanders going down early, but and make sure that they can do it even without the tank.
Yeah, really good fight there from UTD Zenith. I mean, they only used the duplicate, or actually they swap over the Echo to get the job done. And so now, in terms of ults, I mean, Unwoke can be going to be able to come in with a lot. But I mean, UTD Zenith, I mean, they have a Blade, they have both their support ults. It's going to be difficult for Unwoke to get the job done here, as I think that the support ults from Unwoke are just not going to be able to match the side of Zenith here. You kind of have to go massive here with this Pulse Bomb. Otherwise, I mean, you don't really have anything to utilize in order to get the fight going.
Yeah, Wildcard's going to be looking to open with this Blade here, surely, and with those support ults coming online as well for UTD Zenith, a lot on the table to try and keep this point in their possession, but already some pressure on that objective as Cloud Lemon's able to stabilize it here, and they've given up the point control here, so should be heading at least to 99%. Now with a Kitsune Rush invested by Who Dare, trying to help out the tank, but with that Transcendence on the other side, has to be careful here. Sound Barrier invested by Su Whale, just trying to get back through. Now Wildcard can unleash the Blade and find two, exactly what you needed on this fight, but they put everything in the kitchen sink that they had into this investment. Copy still coming up soon, but they're still in an interesting situation here. They're down numbers now, trying to find something, but Virologic Camp trying to take down the DPS here of Wildcard, and now with them falling, that giving up the objective in that situation to start off that fight comes back to bite them tremendously.
Yeah, I didn't like that play at all from Zenith. I mean, they gave up the flip, sure. They're like, okay, guys, we'll let them use their ults, and then it'll be not an issue anymore. But then they lose the fight, and they don't get a chance at all in order to get back. I mean, they had the duplicate online, they had a Primal coming on board, but they're just not able to pop them in time. I mean, we could hit tab really quickly, and I mean, you just need more out of your DPS, right? I mean, right now, Wubs is 11-2, and so there's got to be some kind of solution here to that. What is Wubs going over to the Sombra? Very interesting. I wonder how that'll play out. I do think that it is an interesting option, but I mean, I think Wubs always just plays interesting characters. Never really the meta, not really going to that Sojourn, that Emre that you do expect. So they're going to be on the Ashe, and so Unwoke changing up their composition just a little bit. We'll have to see if that can work out in their favor for the second round, and maybe they can secure the map.
Absolutely. The battle for this high ground, peeking out Wildcard and then realizing there's 4 players on the other side. Maybe don't want to try and invest into that one, just decides to deflect and get away while they can now. Looking into that backline, you see Cloud Lemon just trying to put some poke damage onto Suail, as they do still have control of the high ground, but the point is starting to flip towards UTD Zenith, now trying to take it over their control. They do have it in their control, but that Dynamite is absolutely huge. Forces the cleanse out from Who Dare, but still Suail going down low. But how high you are good, finding the first kill, has to be careful to stay out the sights of Wubs, and eventually does go down, but Colonel Sanders fighting forwards and being able to make the most of this Winston, even with the trade out of Wildcard. Surely the rest of the team falls here, and a quick 20% for them as they try and get back into Nepal.
Yeah, kind of just a slower play there from Unwoke. I mean, they allow that cap to come through, and then Zenith are just able to clean up, and so they get a lot of percentage off of it. They do allow a demech or a remech from Cloud, and we do see Wubs going over to that Cassidy, gonna mirror high you are good. So we'll have to find out if that can be in their favor. Still a little bit interesting in terms of composition, but I do think that having that window online first is gonna allow you to kind of breach out of this choke incredibly fast.
Yeah, they do try and hold them at the choke here, but Waterley now building up to that amplification matrix is going to allow this burst out here, and immediately you can see the window invested, trying to keep the rest of the team alive, but eventually it is going to pay. Wildcard going down, not able to hide in that little room, and now sight set onto the backline. High you are good, going down low, and the rest of the team just crumbling without that Genji. 5v4 turns into 5v2 very, very quickly, and eventually it is only Colonel Sanders that remains. Wubs cleaning up on the objective.
Yeah, really nice flip there from the side of Unwoke. They don't commit anything besides the window there, and you're able to get windows so incredibly fast. But the problem is Zenith don't. I mean, they're coming up on everything that they have, right? And they only really need to win 1, maybe 2 more fights in order to get the job done here for the second round. So if you're Unwoke, you have to play incredibly conservative with your ultimates. Otherwise, I mean, this could just run away from you. And Zenith, they have to make sure, even if they lose this engagement, they have to make sure not to commit everything to it, because they do have time to spare.
Yeah, but losing your tank's not going to help in that situation. Colonel Sanders going down to start off with, and now high you are good, going down so low, just not getting quite the quick melee there from Viro, but the rest of the team dealing with those kills. Wildcard able to find one in the backline, but immediately snuffed out by Wubs, and this is really going to help that point capture situation for Unwoke.
Yeah, they're going to be able to even up percentages just a tiny bit. I mean, they're not going to be able to match entirely to 72 before the fight continues on their way. And especially with Foxy dead, it's going to allow a little bit of a time to slip away as Zenith can kind of rotate over to the point and making this a 45 situation. And they have to make sure they actually pop some ults this fight. Otherwise, they're going to lose the lead.
High Newt going around the corner, but Colonel Sanders is able to take down Wubs before that right click, left click can be pressed. Wildcard doesn't get anything with the blade though, and Viru finding that kill with the pulse bomb is going to really help the situation. Two-man beat now, trying to stay alive on the objective, but it's now flipping on to the other side. Yes, there were 2 ultimates used, so you still got 3 left, but you really need to make use of them in this next fight, as Zenith really can't get back control of the objective now.
I don't love that beat at all. You could have just been like, okay, we're going to lose out this fight quicker, and then we're going to go in for a re-engage. But now, I mean, yeah, we're going to make this the last fight territory, especially, and they have a window in order to apply pressure, and also a remake available. So this is going to be really difficult for the side of Zenith to get the job done. I mean, they have to go absolutely massive, but that's a really bad start.
The Primal, going down through Primal is absolutely ridiculous. You can see the damage that's being able to be pumped out with that Discord Orb now having to face that window. It's not going to be enough for UTD Zenith. And Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast, even though they started off a little bit poorly on Village, able to take that full capture through. As soon as they claim the objective, it didn't seem like they were going to lose it in the slightest. And you can see just how much damage is being pumped out by this team. Wubs, 21-3. Vira, I think, was 26-3 as well. DPS, 4 DPS basically of this team just taking it over.
I mean, yeah, Wub was just going nuclear on Hanzo in that first round. Made a couple of substitutions, made a couple of swaps over in that second round. And it looked a little bit closer for the side of Zenith. They did manage to get a lot more percentage on the board. I think it was like 72 or something like that. But unfortunately, they're just not able to utilize their ults correctly. And so they're not going to be able to take that first map. I mean, Unwoke just seemed completely unfazed off of that first engagement. I mean, I didn't like the beat. You had 3 ults in the back pocket, and the Primal not able to find any value. The High Noon not able to find any value, and then you have what? Just a rush available, but you're already down your Winston, and your High Noon has gotten no value, and you're not on setup on the objective. It's so difficult.
Yeah, just a rough situation there. As hopefully Megan is just going to be back with us in just a second. But I mean, yeah, that beat. Not really a fan of it. 2-man beat, trying to just get something back on the objective, but it felt like the mental was just losing slightly there for UTD Zenith, having lost that first objective in the fashion that they did as well, giving over that flip and making sure that Unwoke Yaoi and CZS could get to 99%, and then you invest those ultimates that you had in the bank to try and flip it back when you're already in control before that fight really doesn't help you. But you can see them still trying to fight forwards, and they're going to be trying to get back into this matchup as they now hold their map pick. And questionable situations where they want to go. I wouldn't be too surprised if they decide to switch over to something like a dive in this situation.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me all right? I think I'm back. I think my Wi-Fi dropped for a fraction of a second there. I apologize for that, but I think I am good now. But yeah, no, it's still very interesting to see what'll be coming through in terms of what map potential that they want to be running. You could technically go to like maybe different kind of map. You don't really want to run into that dive mirror. I mean, we did see what was possible from Cloud Lemon on that Diva. So I think you maybe want to try to force a Brawl mirror. Could try to force them onto maybe the Ramatra or something that they might not be comfortable with. So you could do that. Maybe you could ban out... It feels weird to say ban out the Hanzo. But I think there is a world in which we do see that come through. That could definitely be an option. It does kind of depend on the map, however. But I don't know if I love that ban. I think I would be looking at the tanks or the side of the supports. The DPS, I think it's a little bit more up in the air in terms of if you want to take that off. Maybe you take out the Tracer. Try to force a different flex DPS to be in the fruition. But we do know our second map is going to be Havana. That feels like a Hanzo-liked map, so we might be seeing a Hanzo ban here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised with that. The gambles have absolutely been paying off for Wub so far, and I mean, the other question is, with the backline that Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts have been running, do you want to try and take out that Zen instead? The amount of pressure that Discord Orb was getting is gonna really help in this situation if you're playing on Havana, especially on those first and third objectives. Yes, in the distillery, it's a little bit more difficult to find that pressure that you're seeking, but on first and third, especially if you're able to hold on first for quite a while, it's going to be difficult for UTD Zenith to get back momentum. Having already lost 0-2 on Nepal, you really want to get a good start going here and not go down 2-0 early. But here we go. The theory crafting is over, and now we will see what they decide to ban as in just a second. I'm not sure whether they decide to go a tank ban here. I mean, you could go anything across the board, realistically.
Yeah, I do agree. I think there are a lot of options on the table. You could take out maybe one of those poke supports, like an Alari, like a Baptiste. You could take care of the Widowmaker or a Hanzo. But you could also look at the tank bans. You could look at something like maybe that Sigma if you're not comfortable on it. You could take out a tank in general. Very...
Domino, okay.
Wait, Unwoke ban Domino?
Okay, give us a second. Okay, we're hearing it's the UTD ban on Domino. I'm still surprised to see a Domino ban out of everything. I mean, potentially you could have even banned out the Diva on Havana, just closing the space. If you do want to play something like this Sigma composition, is gonna help them. But I mean, I feel like even if it is a protect ban, there is some other options that you could have gone that aren't the Domina here, but you see a ban over on the other side of the M-Ray. Consistent damage not going to be there for UTD Zenith, as these bans are switched, just to let people know. But in the meantime, what are you thinking of them?
And, you know, the Domino ban is definitely, I do think it is a tank protect, making sure you're allowed to play that Sigma. But I think that there's stronger bans that you could do in the side of the tank. I think that maybe you take the Diva off the board, like you said. You could take the... let's see. You could take the Ramatra off the board. I've seen some teams try to run Winston or Hazard on this Havana map. So I do think that Domino, one of the weaker tanks right now in the current meta. Not the greatest of protect bans, I understand. It does allow you to kind of play that Sigma. But I do think that there were stronger tanks that they could take. And then the Emre ban, I think I like. I think I like the Emre ban. I think it's a solid ban. A lot of damage getting output, especially with Override Protocol and with grenades. Just taking off the board, forcing a little bit more of an honest hit scan duel. You could run that Hanzo, you can run the Widow, you can run the Ashe. Maybe we do see some Sojourn. But very interesting to see UTD Zenith running. I don't know if I like the Cass pick here in terms of that hit scan. I don't know if you're going to be able to have the range with the Cassidy pick.
Yeah, especially with Wubs back on that Hanzo, it is going to be able to outrange you. A Genji out from both sides as well. Something that I didn't expect to see. But you can see a switch up as well in terms of roles. Colonel Sanders going over to the ERE. And you've got Suel on that tank role instead to play that Sigma. But the backline's still there for Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts. That Zenyatta is going to be pumping out that Discord Orb damage, making sure the rest of the team can feast on this objective, as it's going to be a far hold for UTD Zenith, deciding not to hold close. Obviously not what you would want to do in this composition anyway, and a duel of the Genjis is going to come out in Wildcard's favor, just about staying alive, but Foxy finding the first kill, Wildcard not able to get out of the sights of the Zenyatta, and now in the 5v4, we've seen Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts already make above numbers situations pay so far, and once again they are able to do it. Cloud Lemon finding a second, and surely the rest of the team follow here. They're backing up desperately to try and stay alive, to wait for Wildcard to come back, and they've been able to do so. They've been able to soak up the pressure, but that cart progress is motoring across.
Yeah, or really, okay. Something that I don't like is that Unwoke keep forgetting about the objective. They finally get somebody on it, but it did take a little bit of time. I feel like they could have actually forced it to be a couple touches here, but Wub's going to be able to find one. Wildcard gets another kill onto that Genji. Vero's just on this off angle, forcing them to all turn around. So this should just be the first point, capping incredibly fast. UTD Zenith just not completely prepared for this composition. And I mean, it's just such a difficult situation for Zenith to really push into this Hanzo, especially when you're running like just a Cassidy. You just don't have the damage from any distance that you need to, like that Hanzo. But they are going to be able to get a little bit of touch, and there goes Vero. That's a really good start, and Cloud Lemon taking a low. This could still go the way of Zenith, but not with that kind of pick making it a 4v4 situation.
Yeah, now trying to fight back through. They do have the health advantage, and just about able to stay alive, but not for long. Cloud Lemon, eventually they are able to come back into this, and it is going to be less than a meter standing between the first objective and second, but Wub's still trying to fight into this, able to find a kill here, has dragons at least for that next fight, and Viro just trying to get back away now, trying not to be staggered too much, but is going to be the case as the rest of UTD Zenith come and backfill.
Yeah, a little bit of a late couple kills there from Zenith in order to make their hold a little bit stronger. I mean, 2 minutes off the board automatically going to make things a little bit easier for the side of Unwoke or for the side of Zenith actually, as the time bank not going to be in their favor. But Unwoke have everything on the board. It's going to be so difficult to deal with this, especially when you don't have a sustainability ult like a Transcendence, like a Beat. I mean, you're running the Alari Kiriko. There's nothing to really protect you against something like that Blade, and that's a nice dragon kill. Wow.
That's such a tough start to this fight for UTD Zenith. They're able to trade it out onto Wubs, but they're already down 2 in this fight. Viro trying to stay alive here, just zone out. Hi, you are good from the rest of the team. Now the Kitsune Rush invested, but everyone's falling. No one's going to be able to make use of it. The Gravitic Flux in onto Suel. It's not going to be able to stay alive with that grasp, and now Wildcard just desperately trying to do something to slow this down, not going to be able to find a kill, and then immediately going to be traded out. It's a good start here for Unwoke Yaoi and Cheesy Ass as they head into second point.
Yeah, UTD Zenith committed way too much there. I mean, they utilized the sun at the beginning. Sure, I understand that. And then the rush came through, but it was already like a 3v5 situation. So Zenith kind of committing the high noon and the flux in a losing battle. And now they just have a blade online. I mean, sure, there's no transcendence available for Unwoke, but I mean, with just this blade as your only ultimate and the push is going to continue going on, it's going to be so difficult for Zenith to get this hold going.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice headshot there to make sure that Viro can't initially scale up onto that backline, but able to get back away and get some healing in. Cloud Lemon going down so low, but kept up by Water Lily as she's now under pressure from Wildcard, trying to get in with that blade, finds the first kill, second doubled up by Hi, you are good, and now it feels like it's a little bit better, this composition. Now that it's not quite the longer sight lines, this Cassidy is going to be able to play at a better range. Same with that ERE. And this is where we see the switch over from Wubs. Actually not thinking about the switch, but going back.
Yeah, Wub's going to stick onto that Hanzo for the time being, and Zenith doing a really good hold despite, not having any ults, and they're actually going to keep that blade in the back pocket, and so now it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Zenith to lose this objective. I mean, they're going to be coming up on a lot of ults. They have the high noon, they still have the blade, and Unwoke going to be able to kind of match with the Transcendence, but it is going to be difficult for them to get a foothold in, especially with this composition, and it's going to be difficult for them to get set up, but I mean, with Wildcard already off the board, that's a beautiful start for this engagement.
Yeah, there's a blade gone and immediately pulled out on the other side, but the accretion makes sure that Viro can't do anything with it. Foxy trying to find some damage here from the high ground as now Waterley trying to make sure that Cloud Lemon doesn't go down too low, can't press too far forwards, but Foxy's gone down to Colonel Sanders, and now the refight is here. Wub's finding one back onto that ERE, trading out, so 3v3 now in this fight. Gravitic Flux invested by Suel, but able to find the kill from how High You Are Good. That just too much to handle for Water Lily, investing everything there. Cloud Lemon as well, taken down. So it's a nice stagger here, and it's approaching 1 minute left. And where we thought it was a really good push to start out with for Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiasts, they have hit a bit of a roadblock here.
Yeah, and Zenith, I mean, they did use two ults in order to win the fight, but I mean, Unwoke Yaoi, they have 4 ults of their own, but I mean, it's going to be so difficult for I don't know how Zenith hold this, right? I mean, you're going to go in with like a dragon potentially, and there's not really much in terms of responses. You know, you can pop the sun, try to connect onto a lot, but I mean, a random shot like that is going to make it so hard for Zenith to keep this hold going. They need to pop something, or we're going to pick like that to make it a 4v4 situation.
Yeah, that evening pick really helping them in this situation, but you can see Wildcard already down low, has to pop everything to stay alive, isn't able to do so, and now you see these dragons forcing them off the high ground with that Gravitic Flux as well, actually taking them out of it, but Cloud Lemon's just able to capitalize on the damage already dealt by his own ultimate, fighting forwards, making sure the rest of the team has no leg to stand on, and now they're able to get this cart pushing back forwards, but it's going to be an overtime push if they want to get second fully.
Yeah, they still have a Transcendence over. That could be massive for the next upcoming fight. Zenith have a lot to utilize. They could try to maybe force the trans with maybe that sun, and then afterwards use the blade, but it is coming into an overtime situation, and they're really going to be close to capping here. So they cannot just be dying to random nonsense.
The Captive Sun invested early. Now the blade still in the back pocket for Wildcard, trying to stay alive so desperately as Water Lily, but nothing doing. Wildcard finding two immediately, having pulled out the blade. A third for Wildcard. The Genji taking over on this fight, and immediately they're shut down. Where it looked like it was such a good start for Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts. Better hold here for UTD Zenith, as I think that was desperately needed for the mental here. And if you start getting lower and lower down in these situations, the mental starts to get worse and worse. But UTD Zenith, they've been in this lower bracket for quite a while, and they've proven that they can be a bit of a stalwart here.
Yeah, and plus I think on all of their other matchups in this lower bracket, it was a 3-1 situation, so they're used to taking every single map. They're actually pretty used to this situation. So a really good hold there for Zenith there. You know, exactly like I thought they would, using that Captive Sun, forcing out that Transcendence, and then using the blade afterwards. There's just not enough responses for Unwoke, so they are going to be able to get that hold. Not a bad push though for Unwoke, as it is going to be difficult for Zenith to get through this. What I'm really worried about is Wubs. Okay, Wubs is on cast. What is up with these cast picks on defense? I would have thought that you run the Hanzo here on this defense because you have all that range, and so now like it would have been easier there in order to just kind of get a random pick from nowhere. But now Veero's on the Sojourn. This is really weird. I don't know if I love this from Unwoke.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
think
not
the
sure
cast are
about
going to be
this
able to find
either.
anything. I do like the Alari swap by though. I do think that Alari is a little bit of a better option, but not having one of those sustainable ults like the Beat, like the Transcendence, going to make things a little bit more difficult. But maybe they have something in the back pocket that I'm not good enough to know about. So here we do see Zenith start their attack here, and they're going to be hoping to get the map win here.
It's going to be difficult to scale here against all of this damage, but yeah, it's going to be a little bit easier with Wubs on that cast and potentially the Hanzo finding those miracle picks on Thoughts and Prayers. Or just sending in that grenade, trying to zone them out, and it is going to take down that pylon, so a good start here, but taken down low by the damage of Suail, as they have been able to scale up this first objective now, mirroring that cast on both sides, but there's too much damage for them to deal with. 1-to-1 trade, both casts is down, but Cloud Lemon's down so much lower than Suail, and it means that Suail can just walk this accretion out from both Sigmas, and maybe Suail's gone too far, has to use that kinetic grasp just to make sure that the Sig is going to stay alive, but still lots of damage there onto Vyro, just trying to stay alive in this situation. Wildcard having to force that deflect, but able to get back and now looking to get re-entered into this fight. They are at a little bit of a healing deficit, but it's going to be taken back by that kinetic grasp as they still try and fight forwards here. They've not really had anything to stop them in their way so far, but Waterley, having already built that amplification matrix, going to invest it early, trying to find the kills now. Wubs finds one, and that Captive Sun just goes straight into the shield of the Sigma, but it's cleaning up from the high ground though. Colonel Sanders finding two, looking for a third as well on this objective now. With the turret there and the Sig, it's going to be difficult for them to refight this, and potentially it's going to be a first objective here in very quick time for UTD Zenith claimed up, and they are going to have 4 minutes and 40 seconds on this second objective to not even get through the entire way.
Yeah, a really good fight there from Zenith. I mean, the Ilari just going absolutely nuclear there. Not able to find any connects with the Captive Sun, but just being able to just kind of free shoot from above, taking down 2 players from Unwoke. And so that the window did find 1 initial pick, but not enough in order to stabilize as Cloud Lemon. Dude, Cloud Lemon is just taking way too much damage. I mean, there's a Flux automatically. It's going to be difficult for them to keep Cloud Lemon alive here, especially with that Immor already utilized.
Just about able to stay alive, but no. On the other side, Suel does fall, so the reinvest of the Gravitic Flux on the other side gonna come out on top, and Wub's able to take down High You are good, so able to trade out on the opposite numbers here are UTD Zenith, Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiasts, as they look to hold here, but it's a massive time bank against them.
Yeah, I mean, they are able to whittle off a little bit of time, and something that's so important are these ults, right? I mean, Wildcard going to have this blade, and what are you going to use in response? You're going to have to pray that the High Noon is able to get the kill. Maybe you can just find just a random kill onto it, but it's going to be so difficult for this next engagement as Unwoke. Their backs are going to be against the wall. I mean, I don't like their ult as much as I like. Well, that's a good shot actually.
Yeah, traded out immediately onto Foxy with that High Noon, but now you can hear the Override Protocol invested from Viro, looking to find those kills immediately, looking to sweep up onto the backline. Who dare not able to get away, and it is a double hit scan that pays dividends in the end for Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiasts, taking a little bit more time off the clock.
Yeah, but look at the ult charges between these Sigmas. Zuail is doing an incredible job building up to these fluxes. I mean, these Sigmas used them at like the same time. But Zuail is pretty much double the ult charge of Cloud. I mean, it's going to be so difficult for Unwoke to get this ult going, especially with this Blade, especially with this Rush online. You have to be careful if you're Unwoke, maybe to look for something to get done here with this High Noon, or just a random pick again. I mean, double hit scan does that really well sometimes. But yeah, here's the Captive Sun. They're trying to find some kind of answers.
Foxy looking to find a kill into the backline. Wildcard once again taken down before she can unsheath that blade. High You are good, also caught out in the backline. And once more, they're just chipping away at this time bank as it now falls towards 2 minutes. Got to get a little bit of a move on here, but with 4 ultimates for UTD Zenith, surely they start to use them to their favor.
Yeah, they have to go first with their ults. I feel like Unwoke, realizing that they're at a deficit in terms of time and in terms of ults, just kind of going first with their ults. They're doing a really good job of just making... Oh my god, Cloud Lemon. Oh my god, Cloud Lemon. And there's a Flux, there's a Captive Sun, and the High Noon has to go massive here, but it's going to be difficult to win this out if you are the side of Unwoke.
Oh, and the High Noon doesn't find anything. Everything's going blue for UTD Zenith now as the Blade invested as well. They know that everyone's stuck in this corner, stuck in the Gravitic Flux, but it's not going to matter, Cloud Lemon. You've trapped them there with you instead of you trapping them on their own. As now the switch over from Wubs onto this Sombra just to try and get back quick enough. They're going to get a touch at least, but no, scouted out by Wildcards and immediately falls the next to touch. Viro not able to get there. It is going to be UTD Zenith tying this up 1-1, where it looked like they had a bit of a struggle starting on their defensive side. They're able to get back into this and trade out, make sure that this is a little bit more even.
Yeah, I just think it came down to ultimates online. I mean, you came into that fight with 4 ults from the side of Zenith. It's going to be so difficult to deal with that if you are the side of Unwoke. I mean, what are you going to do when there is a Flux and a Captive Sun directly on your entire team? You just don't have any answers. I mean, you have, an Immortality field, and you're going to have to pray that that's enough. You don't have, like, a beat online. You don't have a Transcendence. There's nothing for you to really respond with in order to get the survivability that you desperately need. So UTD Zenith is just kind of eventually overpowering, especially after that very quick first cap. They went in with like 4 minutes and 40 seconds, something like that. So they had all the time in the world to build up their ults and just go in with a huge ult fight in order to even up the series to a 1-1.
Yeah, absolutely. But able to get it back to normal, as I believe we are just going to head into break for just a moment. We'll be right back. But before we do, we're going to do a call out to make sure you get your votes in for the Roll Star Award as they do close tonight. Make sure you get them in before you can't anymore, because if you don't agree with the results, if you're not voted, it's on you in that situation. So maybe a good time to get them in as we go to a quick break. And just to let you know, Dire Triggers have won that other matchup, so winner of this will be playing up against Dire Triggers. But Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with you with this matchup and see how these two teams are going to match up on map 3. Welcome back with us at CGL as we are poised 1-1 heading into this third map chosen by Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiasts. Of course, the winner of this going up against Dire at Triggers, who have won over on CGL 1. And we are in the midst of a busy, busy day here for CGL as these two teams looking to make it through to that lower bracket semi-final and match up against Dire Triggers, who we've already seen win out here today.
Yeah, but before we can talk about the future, we have to talk about the present, which is this matchup right now between Zenith and Unwoke. And we do know, as if you can, maybe tell from the Easter egg behind us, the third map is going to be going over to Servasa, a very classic Flashpoint map. I think one of my favorites personally. I do think that Atlas has been seeing a little bit more playtime, but no, I do think that Servasa is a very good option, and so it does allow a couple of compositions to be able to be played, right? You can run the Diva, you can run the Brawl, you can run the Poke. I mean, we saw how successful they looked on that Sigma. Maybe UTD Zenith want to run that again. And I think you can on a map like Servasa. So we'll have to find out, of course, when we do go to the bans.
Yeah, we'll see what the bans are in just a second. But yeah, there is a flexibility here on Servasa, and I've got to say I love this as a map. And already we do have the bans in. The ban of the Ramatra from Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast, the Tracer out from the other side. So we're not going to see Varo back on that Tracer. But we did see the Genji out for the entirety of that last map. Not really going to be too much of a hassle for Wildcard, who has been on this Genji for the past two maps. So it wouldn't be a surprise to see that still the same. But question really on my mind, is Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast going to stick with this quite greedy backline to try and get more damage in, or is it going to be a switch back to something that's going to be able to stabilize a little bit better? And that could be an answer here as we see a substitution.
Yeah, it does look like End is going to come in for, oh goodness, who was in that back? Foxy. Foxy was in that back line. So definitely going to be seeing that substitution. Maybe that's your Lucio player that you want to be putting in now. I do think that Lucio is one of the strongest supports in the game right now. I mean, Beat just going to be able to do so much. And so I do think that there's a world in which we do see maybe that Lucio Kiriko backline come through for the side of Unwoke for the first time in the series. But I do think that that could also not be the case. I'm not entirely sure is what I'm trying to say at the end of the day. But I'm excited for this. I think that this really could go either way. Both of these teams have shown that they can put up a fight. And here we go into Servasta Flashpoint, one of the most competitive modes, I think, in a hot minute. And so we'll have to find out in just a couple of moments.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Lucio BAP here either, as Water Lily has been favoring that, but Zarya's here as well, could be helping Wubs out on that venture, as wildcard on that Reaper on the other side. Looks like it's going to be 2 champions going to be sent in with those bubbles, but speed control really crucial here on Flashpoint, especially on Suravasa. Not surprised to see both teams switching over to that Lucio, going to try and gain it for themselves. Now they head out of spawn and try and stage towards this first objective. It's going to be a surprise to see what is heading over on the other side. I think you've got to expect it with End coming in that you're going to see this Lucio, but both sides deciding to go for it and both sides staging forwards, trying to get control of the objective. It is going to be control over the slight high ground here for Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast, but as Wubs are being chunked down through that bubble, has to be careful to get away on that venture. Now, looking to get back in here. Vyro now on the cast. Going to look to gain some pressure here. There's a lot of pressure here onto Hi You Are Good, but able to stay alive through the deflect and the bubble. Wubs out so low, but no kills to be found on either side so far. Even with that point in control of Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast, they now try to get back in, but Wildcard the first to draw blood. Wubs going down, and surely this is the go button here for UTD Zenith. So they look to fight forwards, and they are going to take control of the objective here, surely.
Well, wild card off the board. The flip comes through, yes, but it is a 4v4 situation. This could definitely still go either way. The Genji going to be forced. Oh my god, Suwail. Oh, I just also realized that Suwail is on support now. We did see a roll swap come through. Okay, yeah, sorry, I just didn't even clock the roll swap. But that really good fight there from Zenith, just kind of giving a little bit of space, and then they find an opening pick, and that's the go button for them.
Yeah, they draw it even now, but again, you can see how much Water Lily's doing to get that amplification matrix online immediately. The trades are still there from UTD Zenith, and they're able to find the kills despite having the window on the other side, as now it just looks like it's Vyro and Cloud Lemon stuck on the objective. Still finding the kills, though, is Cloud Lemon. Have to be careful that you don't lose out here getting too overconfident, but going to be sent packing once more with a grab on both sides and a beat invested as well. Could be dicey here.
Yeah, there's going to be a massive ult fight. You need to make sure you utilize your ult correctly here, or otherwise you might be committing too much, as UTD Zenith have complete control, and they need to make sure that they can contain the objective.
First grab invested there by Unwoke Yaoi, UTD Zenith, but they're not able to capitalize on the back of it. The ult's going the other way, and that high noon finding Suwail is going to spell doom for them. They do have both support ults still online, but the grab on the other side is going to be difficult to contend with. Surely that's what you're saving your sound barrier for.
Yeah, the beat is still online here for that grab. Going to be super crucial. But this blade is also something that you have to worry about, right? If you are the side of, if you're on the Unwoke side, I mean, what are you going to utilize in response? You already used your beat. You have a grab. You just have to pray that you can grab this blade in order to make things a little bit more easy.
Oh, that wall's amazing! It's a solo grab out for Suwail, but they're able to stay alive somehow. It's 2 for 2 trades here, as they're still trying to fight forwards. The bubble's just doing enough to keep Colonel Sanders alive, and just about, even with that perfect wall placement, it's not going to be enough for Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast. They did everything they could to try and stabilize there off the end of that grab, as Aang comes back in, flying through on the Lucio, trying to support Wubs. Now that blade invested from Hi You Are Good, just to make sure that they can clean up this fight, but 99 to 99, we can see how closely matched these two teams are as we head to the second objective on Suravasa.
Dude, that wall was perfect. I mean, it was genuinely a perfect wall to make sure that nobody got the beat from the side of UTD Zenith, but they're just not able to get the kills in time. And I think the problem with Unwoke here is that UTD Zenith is running that classic Zarya Reaper, so you're able to just bubble your Reaper, force a lot of damage, and then get a lot of charge onto your Zarya. But you don't really have that option if you're on the side of Unwoke. What are you bubbling right now? Your Mei, but I mean maybe that Mei is gonna make it worth it. And that's a really good pick there.
Yeah, and the Blizzard finds Suwail as well, frozen out and taken down in the face of that Kitsune rush on the other side, not turning their nose at it in the slightest, fighting through and making sure that they can get this second objective under their control early with a couple more ults coming online for them.
Yeah, Unwoke going to be coming up on a High Noon and a Window, but Zenith have a Reaper ult. That could be scary. You're going to have to hope that your Immortality field is good enough, or you can try to get a boop from End. But otherwise, I mean, you are in a desperate situation here. There's a TP in. They're looking to use it right now, potentially.
Yeah, Wildcard just backing up, and Water Lily able to take him down that triple headshot through that amplification matrix. Just nothing to be able to contend with, and Vyro able to use that amplification matrix to good use as well. The window into the souls of UTD Zenith as they try and get away, but it's another great wall from Wubs to make sure that the kills can be claimed. And once again, they're able to make use of exactly what they have, and now those big ultimates coming back online for them.
I think Wubs on this Mei is so scary. I mean, just being able to build up, getting some really good walls there. Oh, wild card. That's not a good start to this. I mean, you were going to try to touch there, but now you just can't. You do get somebody, sure, but I mean, it's already a 4v5, and Suwail that's off the board. It's a 3v5 situation, and overtime is ticking down. They don't even get another touch, and so that is just a disaster from Zenith.
At the very least, you don't invest any of your ultimates, but when you're talking about that, at the very least, it's not a good sign. You can't really be picked there if you're wild card, not able to get away, but it's going to be this next objective here, fighting forwards and trying to gain these kills in transition are Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts, and they've been able to do it again. Wildcard going down in transition, trying to get away is Hi You Are Good, having to take the long way round as we go to this third objective. Just taking the cautious route, knowing that they are stalking here the Yaoi enthusiasts.
I mean, Unwoke have everything on the table right now, and you've been holding this Reaper for the longest time, so it's going to be so difficult to get something done. But there's a grab coming online here. Could get the kill on a wild card. Again, a nice pick there, as it is looking like they're going to be able to get that first cap, and they still have 3 ults in the bank if they want to try to fight this out. Oh boy.
Grab in there is going to land, but nothing to stop that beat in from End, and now you're just fighting back once more, being pushed back away from this objective. Already up to 20% in the hands of Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts as they try to stay alive here. Zenith just caught between everywhere. And Wubs finding the kills that are needed off the back of the Blizzard. Didn't even need the wall in that situation. Now hunting down his End, charging through, trying to take down the rest of these picks, as Wildcard really hasn't been allowed to play the game for the last couple minutes.
Zenith has so many ults, but they've been holding on to them for so long. I mean, they've had this Reaper ult for I think 4 straight fights. I mean, Wildcard's just getting found first. I mean, you need to go first with some of these ults, otherwise it's going to be so difficult for you to even get any advantage despite having these ults online.
Wow, yeah, they lose Wildcard again. Wildcard's not been able to play the game, just forced out the server by the other team. They are able to trade out onto Vyro, so a 1-for-1 as they still have 4 ults online. You need to use them. There's nothing on the other side, but they're still able to win it out in the neutral if you don't invest them. Suwail just having to go back, trying to get away, going to be scouted away by Wubs. There you see that Blossom, but it doesn't get anything. Cloud Lemon able to take down the Reaper while that Death Blossom is available, and they're just giving it up this second objective for free. No ults used. Well, 1 ult used, and then you switch over to the Bastion, but that's basically it.
It's just so difficult for Zenith to do anything. I mean, with Wildcard getting picked on cooldown, it's just so difficult for you to get any kind of engagement going. I mean, you're going to have to use one of these support ults. But Unwoke have even up the ult economy now. They're going to be coming up on a lot of their ults. And Zenith still holding on to this. I mean, that last point came through and, nothing was used. So Zenith, you need to pop some of your Q buttons. They need to make sure that their Q buttons are actually properly installed on their keyboards in order to make this possible.
Yeah, and look at the amount of pressure that they've got in already. They've gone back behind them, the Yaoi enthusiasts. Yes, you get 1 off the High Noon, and now the burst back is going to be strong enough to make sure that they can get in here. But once more, it wasn't them using their ultimates proactively. They were reacting to what Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts were doing. It just about happened that they were able to flip the script, but you can't be relying on that.
Yeah, you need to be active instead of reactive with your ults. I mean, Unwoke only used just the grab there, and Zenith used their B. So it's going to be so difficult for them to play into this Blizzard. Unwoke have 4 ults on the table here, and they could go absolutely quick with them, as they've been doing before.
Yeah, there's nothing to stop this sound barrier from just immediately cancelling out that grab, and even with the care from Colonel Sanders, wildcard is going to go down. Once again, they're able to find the kills, though, in these fights. They're able to stabilize just about enough, and still they're chasing down here. Waterloo, the last one to fall. Just about, they're being okay. I don't know how sustainable it is, but somehow they're doing it.
I actually don't know how Unwoke just lose that. I mean, they use the Blizzard, they use the beat, and the grab comes through, and UTD Zenith just able to find picks. I really don't understand how that happens for Unwoke. I mean, they're going to have 2 ults here, but they're going to be the least impactful ults of the game. You're going to have to just go massive here with this window, otherwise it's going to be difficult.
Window High Noon immediately in this choke point as they try and force forwards, and they're able to find one. It's only the opposing cast, though, so not too much to write home about. They've been up in these fights before, but at least they've got control of the objective now, flipped over to their side as they now try and look forwards to get this high ground back under their control. Wisely just heading back here, UTD Zenith. They do have this Bastion ult if they do want to use it, but the artillery form not going to be able to do quite as much as some of the other ultimates that could be on the board.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult here for Unwoke to hold. They have literally nothing in the tank, and I mean, there's a beat coming online here for Suel. That could be devastating. Oh, that wall! Oh, no!
Catching off Colonel Sanders is going to devastate this. You're able to get back through the wall, and somehow Colonel Sanders has been able to live, but it doesn't mean that the same is going to be afforded to Wildcard, just peeking out too far, and both of the DPS now gone once more. Viro able to find the opposite number at the start of that fight. Colonel Sanders is up to a higher charge, so still able to stabilize here, and that amplification matrix back on board for Water Lily. She's doing so much healing to make sure that this team can stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, this is left by territory. Unwoke have 2 ults. There's the window coming. The Blizzard is also online here, and Zenith have the things that are on the table, and they're going to be able to pop them. And this, oh my god, this is a huge ult fight.
The explosive artillery just too much from Wildcard, though, finding the first 2 picks of this fight now in a 3v5. Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts try and hold on to this objective with their lives, knowing that they can seal Suravasa with this win, but it's not going to be the case as it flips back over to UTD Zenith, and we are going to be going all the way on Suravasa to the full 5 map points.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the final fight, but Zenith popped so much. I mean, I guess Unwoke did too, but I mean, Zenith popped both their support ults and their grab. They're going to be coming up on a Hind and a Bastion ult versus a Blizzard and both DPS ults and a grab from Unwoke. So it's going to be really difficult for Zenith to win this out. As I mean, if Unwoke get the first cap here, that could be spelling disaster for the set of Zenith here, as they need to make sure that they stay ahead in the series.
They have a bunker here on point, though, do UTD Zenith, as Flashpoint unlocking very soon. The artillery form just to keep them at bay for now. Now Wildcard has to pop that turret form, just about able to stay alive, but High, you are good. Caught in that Blizzard, and quick 2 kills for Wubs, making the most of that ultimate, firing through, and the first capture is going to be there for Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts.
Yeah, I mean, they use the Blizzard, but they still have that grab in the back pocket. I mean, Zenith are so broke. They have nothing. They're 52 to a rush door. But with how fast Flashpoint runs, I mean, you can probably squeeze out another 50% before anything is online here from Zenith. And so this is a dastardly bad situation here for UTD Zenith. I mean, they need to try to just build up these ults at an insane rate. They are going to be going over the high ground. But, I mean, Unwoke have everything on the table, and everything should be going in their favor.
Yeah, the pressure now from the stairs, so they try to fight forwards, but the grab is good. The question is the support even better? They take down Colonel Sanders, and now without the tank presence, they can't stay in this fight. Once again, Wub's just walking forwards, and the 2 beams of Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts just able to take down the rest of their team. High, you are good, trying desperately to stabilize, but now as it heads over 3 quarters on this final point, can you do anything to touch even here?
I think they're going to be able to get a touch for sure, potentially. Yeah, no, they definitely get a touch, but it's going to be a dastardly bad fight. I mean, you have this window short from Water Lily, but it's going to be just a purely neutral fight, as these health are so incredibly low. You need to build up these ults fast, and that could be the end, actually, right there.
Yeah, Colonel Sanders just too low, trying to get forwards to that objective. The rest of the team falling by the wayside. As soon as the tank goes, the rest will follow. And although it looked very, very close on a couple of objectives, that's a statement from Unwoke Yaoi and CGS as they are able to win that third objective, a clean 100-0, and take a 2-1 lead as they hold serve here in this lower bracket quarterfinals.
Unwoke seemed incredibly more composed here than they were on Havana. I mean, Havana, it did feel like there was nice shots from Wubbs there. On Havana, it just kind of felt like there were not really a solid foundation in terms of a composition. But here, I mean, they were running a very classic composition. That Zarya pocketing that flex DPS. You have your hit scan going nuclear, and then I thought it was going to be interesting seeing that VAP versus that Kiriko pick. But I mean, that window was just able to provide so much value, especially with that high noon combination. And so they were able to get the win at the very end. But man, this is going back and forth. I wouldn't be surprised if UTD Zenith now tries another poke composition on another poke map, and maybe take us to a map number 5. But I can't count my chickens before they hatch.
Yeah, I mean, what have you got left here? You've got push and you've got hybrid. So wouldn't be too surprised to see a hybrid map chosen here by UTD Zenith as they try and get back on the board and force this map 5 in what's been a banger of a series so far, looking to stay alive and take the fight to Dire Triggers in the next round. But UTD Zenith now back in control. Surely, I mean, they looked best on that poke composition. I can't see a way that they don't try and enforce it as much as possible in what's going to be their last map pick of the series.
The problem is I'm taking a look at the map pool right now, and yes, I do think that you do try to go for a hybrid, but like, what kind of hybrid maps do support the poke compositions the best? I think in every single situation, it's either dive or kind of like a brawl. I mean, maybe you could say Midtown, but I think Hollywood supports the dive, Numbani supports the dive, King supports the brawl. I think your only option if you want to try to force that poke composition out yet again, it has to be Midtown, but even then, I don't feel super confident in it, and push isn't sounding any better. I mean, Colosseo, New Queen, and Runasapi, maybe you could go to like New Queen, but a lot of these, in the current meta that we're in, poke compositions are not very common. There's not very often maps that favor it, so it is going to be difficult if they do want to force this. I do think that Havana was their best shot at getting it done, and they did get it done on that one map, but it's going to be difficult for them to try to replicate that magic on any of these other options.
I will say they looked pretty good holding that distillery on the second objective of Havana, so in my mind, that matches up most to that first objective of Midtown. If you're able to take a lot of time off the clock there, you're able to get back to that bridge on the second objective. Maybe that's something that you can use to your favor, and you want all the favor that you can get to tie up this series, as you know that there's not going to be something on the other side. And the thing is, it feels like whatever Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts pick on the final map, if they are allowed hybrid, they're going to be able to control the tempo that is going to be played, whether it's going to be a brawl map, whether it's going to be a dive map. If you leave that open, I feel like there's other questions that need to be asked. But if you decide to go for leave them push, it's not as if there's as much variety between the push maps as I feel like there is in certain situations for those hybrid maps. So I think that's still where I would be going, but you've really just got to focus on getting this map on the board and making sure that you can get through to that best of 5 map 5 in the first place before you can really think about going any further in the series.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that. I mean, you do need to make sure, you can't really think about a map 5 situation when you need to think about a map 4 situation automatically. I think you're completely right about that. But something that I have to talk about is the difficulty of this flex DPS slot. From the set of Unwoke, I mean, Wubbs is putting on a performance. Honest to God, I think that May wall onto that grab was filthy, and that told a lot about their skill expression on that May. And so this has to be a question about, if you are the side of Zenith, is that something that you might want to take off the board? It does feel a little weird, banning out a May. You're like, what, May? That's not really a common pick. I mean, but Wubbs is doing wonders on it. Blizzard is an incredibly strong ultimate that not a lot of people utilize a lot of the time, and there's not really a lot of answers that are good for it. Like, sure, you can pop a beat, but if they choose the right target and there's not enough the support, it's so difficult to keep them alive even with a beat utilized. So maybe there's a world in which you do ban out that Mei. But that feels weird. Could be in a situation where you save that for map 5. But then you have to worry about if they do run it on map 4, depending on what the choice is from UTD Zenith. It's going to be interesting to see how Unwoke respond, what kind of composition they want to, roll out on, whether it be Wubs on that Hanzo, more of a poke map, or if it is going to... Okay, Numbani, that's...
Okay. We'll see. We'll see what they decide to do. But yeah, you're talking about Wubs. It's so difficult to ban out a player like this as well, because you can't target ban something that's so uncommon. I mean, like, technically you can take one off the board, but where you've got the Mei and the Hanzo, it's not situations that you really expect. And especially as we were saying going into this, these two teams haven't played up against each other. You can't prepare for someone that's randomly throwing a Hanzo and a Mei into the mix when it's nowhere near the meta, and suddenly you're having to deal with that.
Yeah, I think if you're Zenith, I think you have to take the Hanzo off the board, if I'm going to be so honest with you. Or maybe maybe the Diva could be something that they need to look at. The Diva into the Winston composition is something that you don't really like running if you are the side of that Winston. That could be the option that they look at. I think that Diva's a good choice. Maybe you take out a Brig if you do want to try to force like some weird backline to be the looks for both of these teams. I mean, I think Unwoke definitely do like running that weird backline. We've seen Zen Bap, we've seen Bap Lucio, even when Kiri Lucio is that strongest backline support composition. So Zenith, going to be taking care of that Diva, going to be allowing their Winston to kind of run a little bit more free. And now Unwoke are going to be able to respond with a DPS or a support ban. They could be the ones to take the Kiriko off the board. Maybe they're going to be the ones to be like, all right, let's make things a little bit more fun in terms of our backline. We'll be able to run that Ana with that Brig, and you guys aren't going to be able to run that Kiri Lucio anymore. I think that's definitely an option, but it is going to be interesting to see what they select.
Yeah, I think that's where I would go specifically, but you do have the options to take out some of the more standard DPS, and we've seen Wildcard go over to this Genji a fair amount as a comfort pick, and we've seen even when Wildcard wasn't on the Genji, they had Hayu or Good starting off on that on Suravasa as well, so 3 maps of Genji for the side of UTD Zenith, but they take away the Ana. I feel like that's a really strange pick. Maybe just to make sure that Ana break backline can't be played. They want to still play this Baptiste if it's working. If it's not broke, why would you fix it? But I don't know. I'm not sure about it.
I think maybe they recognize that UTD Zenith want to run the Winston, and I think the Winston without an Ana is such a difficult thing to run. So maybe that's their answer. That's their solution. Maybe force them onto that Kiriko, which doesn't really mesh as well with the Winston unless you're at like that super high level. But taking care of that Ana is a little bit unconventional for them. I think Unwoke definitely didn't think they were going to be banning Ana this series if they had to think about a potential map 4 situation on Numbani. But that is going to be the answer from them. I don't hate it, especially because they're going to be running the Winston. I mean, a Diva ban telegraphs that beautifully, and you're like, okay, if you want to run the Winston, you can't do it with an Ana anymore. So I like that response. We'll have to find out if it works in their favor, and Unwoke are going to be able to finish out the series, or if UTD Zenith is going to be taking us to a map 5 on this dive map.
Yeah, and I mean, it does. All roads point to this Winston. We've seen the Winston come out from Colonel Sanders on Nepal as we started off, but I don't know. I'm still not sure about it. It feels like you're throwing all your eggs into one basket that didn't work earlier, but you're hoping it'll work a little bit better now. The question is the hole still there, or have you been able to patch it up? Because you don't want the eggs rolling out at this point. You don't really have anything to fall back on. 2-1 down in this series, going down 3-1 if you aren't able to win this matchup, but they have thrown a roll of the dice in here, and at least it's something that is going to be a little bit of a different display here for Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts to try and break down.
Yeah, we'll have to find out, of course, as we do get to go into this map. I don't believe that there were any substitutions, so we'll be seeing these same players in on hopefully the right roles. As it is a little difficult to go between the same players when they're on different roles, but we'll have to find out in just a couple of minutes or moments, I should say. As it's going to be interesting to see what these backlines are looking like. Whoa. Alari from what are these?
This is it's a matched Iari Baptiste backline. Ent stayed in to play the Iari, so not going back to Foxy. Wubs is on the Emre. An Emre on both sides. Hi, you are good on the Echo. So Wales back on tank. I mean, I feel like I could have had so many guesses at what's going to be here, but I don't think I would have found exactly this in quite some time.
Okay, it does look like Zenith is going to swap back over to a Brig Kiri. It's going to be difficult to run that with your Winston. I mean, the Winston's just going to be taking so much damage, especially into that Emre. But we'll have to find out here as this is going to get underway here in UTD Zenith, looking to extend the series to a map 5. But Cloud Lemon going to be on the Sigma, also not a very common option here. We'll have to find out if that works in their favor, or if this could be Zenith, kind of getting in the heads of Unwoke a little bit.
Yeah, they're just trying to stage up here, going around the back as they look to force pressure onto this high ground now. The shield out from Cloud Lemon, not going to be doing too much, but at least going to be able to stop some damage coming through. But Wub's the first to fall. Wildcard getting the diff onto the opposing Emre and being able to get back to the rest of the team. The question is, can Suwail stay alive? The Winston going down lower and lower as this fight rages on. They've been able to trade out as well onto Hi You Are Good. So 1-for-1 here, both DPS falling on either side, but Suwail now heading up to this high ground. The bubble going to be a little bit of reprieve, but once again, you can see that there's no real way for this Winston to engage without having the armor. Another kill here from Wildcard, and this is going to be what you're relying on. If you can't engage with the Winston, you need your DPS to be doing the absolute most, and this is exactly what Wildcard's been doing on this Emre so far, but Wob striking back onto Hi You Are Good, and finally the double as well. Going to be taken down, but surely the damage might be done in this situation.
It's just such a... Zenith did a really good job there in terms of rotations, but it just took too long. I mean, they took off a minute and a half, and they've already built a flux from Cloud Lemon, so there's not going to really be a really good answer here from... Why would you TP up there? Hello? Wait, why... this is just...
Swale's fallen in the meantime, and it is going to be a trade out, and eventually it is going to be finding these kills before this first objective tick is going to be found. It just feels very strange. They're so passive on this Winston.
You need to dive. You can dive this Alari. You can dive this Baptiste. You're just not. You're using your rotates, and they're taking way too long. I mean, you've wasted 2 minutes and 15 seconds, and you didn't get anything done. Sure, you forced out that flux, but I mean, Unwoke have everything else on the board, and Suwail is only 66 to that Winston ult, so it's going to be difficult for UTD Zenith to get into this, especially with how slow they've been playing. If they're going to keep stalling like this, they could be in last fight territory, despite how ridiculous that sounds.
Yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous. Just finding that headshot somehow onto Viro, taken down immediately, but Cloud Lemon able to trade it out, not being too worried at the moment. Hi, You Are Good in with the copy now. 2 Emres on the board for the side of UTD Zenith. They're using that to full advantage, able to take down Wubs from that override protocol, but still holding strong here is Cloud Lemon, just about going to be able to fall, but the rally needs to be invested from Colonel Sanders to be able to do so. They are going to get this first objective, but it seems like they've taken quite a while to get here eventually. I mean, you don't worry about how you do it in the end, you are going to find it.
Yeah, it took a little bit of time. They were able to play fast on that second engage, but they still do get a time refresh. They do get that first checkpoint. It did cost a couple of ults, but Unwoke did use that Emery ult, so I think it's a good response. But Unwoke going to be able to kind of hold here if they can farm even more time off of the clock here. That's not good. that's not good.
Yeah, En's just caught in the middle of absolute nowhere. Found the kill is Wildcard once again. Going to be so happy to see that Iari just in the sights, caught out. But Suwail just trying to find some space. Going to be forced back away. Cloud Lemon just posting up on the high ground, making sure that the dive can't come onto the backline, but Wubs, those shots just not quite landing from Waterly, and now down so low as well as the Baptiste has to be careful to stay alive here as now the pressure comes through. The override protocol invested from Wildcard. Going to put more pressure onto that high ground as well, with Suel having that primal rage. They can't leave this objective here at the moment. They can't fight back on to get onto this objective. There's going to be a second capture almost out here. Vyro trying to do something to stop it, and I believe there's a second toucher as well as Wubs goes onto that Reaper, but eventually going to be cleaned up, and a lot quicker of a second objective capture there from UTD Zenith than the first.
Yeah, they are going to get a small time refresh. I mean, honest to God, I don't even think that the card stopped the entire time. I didn't talk the entirety of that second point. I mean, it just went so fast for UTD Zenith. They never got stopped, and Unwoke going to make a couple of compositional swaps here, going over to that Reaper, going over to that Wu Yang, and Water Lily onto that Kiriko. So definitely a little bit of a couple of changes here. Hopefully that'll work out in their favor. They need to shave off a little bit of time, otherwise UTD Zenith can make it really far.
That's a good start though. Waterly finding the kill with that kunai straight to the dome of Wildcard, and both DPS now in the ground for UTD Zenith. They're going to have to back up here for the moment. It's going to be a little bit more time off the clock as they are able to dig their feet in a little bit here. Cloud Lemon still with this Gravitic Flux for this next fight, but End maybe peeking just a little bit too far on that Wu Yang. Now the pressure is onto Wubs on that Reaper. Has to reform to try and get away. Not going to jump down just for now as Suel tries to phase forwards. Primal Rage popped, but inside that Gravitic Flux is going to keep him alive for now, and it's going to make sure that the rest of the team can clean up in the backline. Everyone falling, well, a couple falling for Unwoke as both the DPS go down, and now they look to fight back in what is last fight territory for them. That Kitsune Rush invested, both High Noons out for both sides as Hayu are good, trying to find something, but Vyro is able to click first and take down that High Noon on the other side. Now Wildcard down so low in that override protocol, trying to find something, but Vyro finds the kill once again. Coming up big is the cast for Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast, just trying to stay alive here, as now it looks like they are going to be able to stabilize here on the objective, with it just not reaching a minute 30 left.
Zenith, that was a bad fight. They commit everything. I mean, literally everything. They have no ult on the table. They could have saved something for a next engagement. They tried to win it right then and there, but now you're going to be coming into last fight territory, potentially maybe 2 more fights, and you don't have anywhere close to an ult. Maybe Suel can build up a primal, but Unwoke have responses. They have answers. Zenith just... I don't like that at all. It's going to be difficult for them to get the full cap here.
Yeah, everything in the kitchen sink to no avail. That tidal surge there from End, and Wubs down solo is going to get the tidal surge just to make sure that Reaper can stay alive. Now trying to engage forwards. Has the Death Blossom in the back pocket as well if needed. 40 seconds left now for UTD Zenith if they want to get this full way, but End takes out High. You are good. They're going to be forced back here, and surely this is going to be a last fight territory for them now. You need to stay alive if you're the rest of this team. You can't be picked once more, and it's exactly what happens. Wildcard goes down, trying to get away from the rest of the team. Wubs is going to be holding this high ground till Kingdom Come, and Swell falls back.
30 seconds left. I mean, does Zenith even have a touch or an ultimate? I mean, there's a Flux, there's a High Noon, and there's a Reaper ult. Zenith are going to be stopped here. They just shattered their own ult economy, and there's 12 seconds left. I mean, they can... Do they even... There's not even a touch. Oh, no, there's a touch from the Wonky, but it's going to be difficult for them to win this fight, especially with the Flux online.
The economic crash of 2026 for UTD Zenith as they try and get something, but at the end of the day, the ultimates are going to be pay to them. The Death Blossom, a final firework in the hands of Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiasts. And although after that first fight, the second did come easy to UTD Zenith, the third not quite so simple for them as they invest pretty much everything and don't get the dividends out of it. It is going to be a golden box of glory for Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiasts to win this series 3-1 if they're able to get there.
Yeah, Unwoke, despite that rough kind of beginning there on, they stalled a little bit for that first point. Second point, we don't talk about what happened to second point on Unwoke Yaoi's defense. But it is looking like the goalpost has been set. I mean, they know exactly where they need to go with their objective, and maybe they'll be coming out on a different composition here. Zenith, they need to go for a strong defense here. They kind of, I don't know, they just look like the 1920s America with the Great Depression hitting in that last couple of moments. They tried desperately in order to get the job done, but you could have just saved an ult. You had time on the bank, as we are getting pauses in from the side of Unwoke, as we're not pausing just yet. Can somebody pause? Okay, all right, there we go. We're gonna pause.
That's fine. We're all right.
They committed too many ults. They had time on the bank, but they just desperately wanted to have a larger time bank, and so they commit pretty much everything they had in order to try to get the job done. But then it kind of just I would rather you cap all 3 points with a less time bank than not capping because you've popped every single ultimate and lost, right? I mean, they literally had nothing they didn't build up enough ult charge. They had a minute and 45 left or at some point at the very end of that economic crash, and then they weren't able to build anything else up. I mean, they were closest with like a primal at like 80%, but it's just not enough. You need to have some resources on hand. You cannot utilize everything like that. That is such a rookie mistake. And Zenith, I mean, definitely going to be biting themselves and it's not biting themselves in the foot. Is that a saying?
They shot themselves in the foot.
Shot themselves in the foot. Yeah. Bite. What is? Why did I say biting? I feel like that might be another saying. Maybe I'm like mixing up my sayings or something. I was about to say biting myself in the foot, but I don't think that's a thing.
Very flexible if you're able to do that. Fair play.
Can you? I don't even know. I was gonna try, and then I realized that I'd be putting my feet on
We're
camera.
on camera.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do it during break. See if I can put my foot in my mouth. But it's difficult, and now Unwoke have a chance to make this a 3-1 series, and to end our night here for CGL casting. And I mean, it's not an impossible task. Unwoke definitely did seem a little bit flustered on their defense, but I mean, they managed to get it back all together, and they were able to get a hold on the third point. And so now the goalpost has been set. They know what they have to do, and I think it's possible. It just depends on how UTD Zenith's defense goes.
Well, besides teasing the CGL private paid members subscription service, it is going to be Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts that are going to be trying to fight forwards. And I feel like the other thing that went unnoticed for Zenith is how far forwards you saw Who Dare trying to go. No, not Who Dare. Hi, you are good. With that High Noon, trying to fight forwards and find something out of it instead of taking the zoning that it was giving them. Pushes forwards a little bit too far into the High Noon on the other side, and it all collapses from there. And I feel like they were a bit too desperate, and it reeks of a team that is a little bit desperate going into this situation. You are 2-1 down. You are fighting for your lives in this lower bracket and trying to stay alive here. It felt like they were just a bit too eager to try and get it across the line. And you have to keep a level head in these situations. You want to make sure that you can get through to that map 5, whether it's with time on the clock or not. If you take that third objective, the amount of times that we've seen a second objective win on a map like Numbani or anything really in terms of hybrid, the third point capture is something that doesn't come out quite as often as you'd expect. And pushing forwards for that full 3 and taking a load of time off instead of just leaving something in the bank to make sure that you can go back in and not crash the economy, I feel like they were just a little bit too eager for it. But Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts, I'm gonna be cautious to see how they're gonna use this Sigma on the attacking side. I feel like it bunkers a little bit better than it aggresses.
Yeah, it did smell a little bit like desperation. You know, I don't think they haven't been in a situation where they are on match point. They've always had a little bit of breathing room. Sure, they've dropped a map here and there, but it's always been a 3-1 or a 3-0 in that lower bracket. So definitely going to be interesting to see if they can compose themselves enough in order to hold. But I mean, we'll have to find out here when we resume our map.
Yeah, we are going to take a little bit of a break as we resolve an ongoing issue, but we shouldn't be too long, so stay tuned with us. We will be right back with the conclusion of this series. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back with us, where we have a little bit of a situation, but we're going to work it out on the fly for you. So we've got a situation where the map has corrupted, but of course we do know exactly how far UTD Zenith were able to push on their attacking side. That is 2 points and 70.3 meters. So that is the golden box here. Even though it won't display on the screen for you, you're going to be able to know exactly where it is, and if Unwoke Yaoi and CZS are able to push forwards from that on their attacking side, then it is going to be them winning the map and the series. But we should be heading back in fairly soon to Numbani, and we'll see how these two teams fare when the sides are flipped.
Yeah, we'll have to find out, of course. Unwoke have to just push it to, I think it's 70.03 meters. So there is an extra zero involved. So, it's not as far of a push, but, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But no, now we are going to be coming back here with Unwoke having to get their push going. They have an option to close out the series right here, right now. If not, Zenith is going to be taking us to a map number 5, and very interesting looking comps here from the start for Unwoke. I mean, Cat Bap, not something that I've been seeing every day.
Wait, Cat Bap Sig on Attack Numbani. We'll see how it goes. I'm not sure about this composition. I don't know how well it's going to work out for them, but we saw how slow UTD Zenith were to engage on that Winston composition. Into a Sig on the other side could be something that works to their advantage, but time will tell as N switches over to this Juno to give them some speed here.
We'll have to see how long that Juno lasts. No, it looks like it's going to be a Wu Ying start here, and Wubbs is back on that Hanzo. So, it is looking like if Zenith just get randomly picked from Wubbs on this Hanzo, that it's going to be so difficult for them to get like a hold going for a good enough time. Ult economy doesn't really matter all too much when everybody's just dead. Speaking of dead, Cloud Lemon gets taken out first, and that's probably going to be a reset automatically for Unwoke. I mean, you can't really do much without your tank.
Yeah, the Sig just trying to peek around the corner, not being given any courtesy in the slightest. And Wildcard, if you're able to land these grenades into this corner that they're trying to play through, it's going to be absolutely devastating for the push on the other side. Still a little bit of damage coming through from End on that Wu Yang, just trying to get some water orbs out through, but now through the low ground. Swale finding Wubbs once again. It's a first pick here for UTD Zenith, and a really good start here as You Are Good finds End as well.
Yeah, really good start there from Zenith. I mean, they've already shaved off a minute of the time off, and not a lot of ult charge either from anybody on the side of Unwoke. I mean, Water Lily going to be 70% sure, but I mean, Zenith, they're doing a really good job just kind of
there it is.
That's exactly what I was talking about, right? Ult economy be damned. You don't really need ults when the enemy team is just dead,
Yeah, they're able to trade it out, though, and even with the headshot onto You Are Good, it's not quite charged enough to take down that cat, so still a 4v4 here as Wubbs is going to be sent back to the spawn doors. Varo going down a little bit low on this high ground as well, just being staged out by Swale, has that flux as well if needed. Now, with that amplification matrix, but not going to be able to make use of it, is Water Lily. A lot of pressure onto You Are Good, taken down 1-1, but here comes that Gravitic Flux. Going to be putting so much pressure in onto Cloud Lemon, down low, but down even lower as Viro. 1 trade, 2 trades from Wubbs. Now their headshots are hitting, but is it going to be enough as Viro is still down low, taken down eventually. Here come the Dragons, but it's only going to take out that pylon. And once again, they're going to be sent packing here, even with Wubbs hitting those headshots.
Yeah, I mean, Wubbs trying their absolute best to just find some picks there. They also commit that Dragon, and so their ult economy going to be a little bit of a downwards trajectory. I mean, Zenith have a lot of ults coming online. They just popped that Flux there, and there's a minute and 30 left, and Unwoke need to get this objective capped. Otherwise, this could be a very quick map number 4, despite the technical issues.
Swale's going to be coming up to lapping Cloud Lemon if Cloud Lemon's not too careful in terms of this Gravitic Flux race, because it's just been building so much quicker. Both DPS ults on the side of UTD Zenith are there, but losing Colonel Sanders isn't going to be a help to start off with as they now try and trade stage towards the high ground. Wubbs finding 3 on the fight, eventually taken down by the grenade of Wildcard, but at the end of the day, how much can you do? Foiling them across the line at this point is Wubbs, even going down eventually, but I mean, you're dragging the rest of the team alongside with you.
Yeah, Wubs is looking like me in my ranked games, looking incredible on that Hanzo. That's a joke. I'm not that good at Hanzo. I like to think that I'm good at Hanzo, but you know, I have my moments.
Everyone
Not like
likes to
Wubs.
think they're good at Hanzo.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to be good at Hanzo, considering that it's just kind of a luck-based character. You just kind of fire a log down main and pray that it gets ahead. As right now, I mean, yeah, Cloud Lemon is getting lapped again. There's a high noon, but Vero is going to be taken off the board, and something needs to change here for Unwoke. I mean, they're getting completely dominated in terms of their ult economy.
I mean, you're praying for miracles, and they have been landing from Wubs, but you can't keep praying on them for forever. They're still falling, though. Wubs is still finding these headshots, and the Dragons finds wildcard as well. It's hacked the health pack for Sawale, so not going to be given the health pack there. And I mean, I think that health pack might have actually helped them in that situation. It's going to be 4 ultimates on the board for UTD Zenith, but if you're not alive and Wubs is hitting heads like they are, it's not going to help you how many ultimates you have on the board.
Yeah, as Wubs, I mean, again, just shutting everything down. 3 ults for the side of Unwoke, and they're going to finally have this Flux online. This could be massive here. I mean, you need to make sure that oh god, dude. Wubs is just trying their absolute best. There's a Flux. It's going to connect onto a lot of players, and there's a Bubble also online, but those are 2 nice picks, and it's going to be difficult for UTD Zenith to actually get this hold going. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, it's another headshot. What can you expect at this point? Wubs is bringing them across the line, kicking and screaming. 3 minutes left to get that 70.03 meters to be able to get this win. And, I mean, if Wubs keeps hitting heads like this, there's no way of stopping them.
Yeah, and I mean, Zenith did use all of their ults in order to try to get that hold going, but they weren't able to, right? I mean, they committed the Sun, the Rush, and the High Noon. I mean, they're just going to have an override protocol, and a window online here for Water Lily could definitely shut that down. Cloud Lemon going to be on that off angle trying to get something done. But this time is, you know, the push is still going, and we're approaching last fight territory.
This override protocol needs to be big, is going around the corner trying to find something. Cloud Lemon finds a pylon, but that's about it. But the kills are back and forth. The tank presence having gone for Unwoke Yaoi and GZS surely pushes them back as Viro down solo, able to stay alive just about off the back of that side. I'm going to perfect Suzu just to keep your Cass alive. Hi, you are good. Going to be thanking Who Dare for that one. And a little bit of a stop here, just to calm down here, I think, for UTD Zenith.
Yeah, Unwoke going to be coming up on 3 ults here. Zenith have a Flux on the board, could definitely be shut down, but I mean, they're going to allow their hit scans to sit on this high ground. But Cloud Lemon's up here. They did not expect this at all, as they're going to be forced off of this high ground, and that's going to give up a lot of the space that they needed to kind of hold for, as 47.36 meters unlocked. Remember, guys, it is 70.03, so they really only need to win 1 more fight in order to get the job done.
Yeah, you can see Wildcard backing off with a tail between her legs, just being sent packing. That Gravitic Flux is going to help to make sure that that damage from that amplification matrix is going to be mitigated as much as possible. They're doing enough at the moment to try and stabilize, but still that override protocol and the Dragons now invested. How you are good not being able to get back to safe territory. Now the override protocol is in from Viro, trying to find something here, but taken down with that high noon from How You Are Good. They're just about able to stabilize at the moment. 7 meters more needed, but when the kills aren't coming, it's going to be difficult. And with the spawn advantage that's here as well, even if you are going to get these kills from Wubs, as they're investing everything into this Hanzo to try and find something. The Captive Sun here on the other side can be eaten by Cloud Lemon, but with that Kitsune Rush going to be just about enough. Desperately trying to take down Who Dare, but the kills aren't coming in for Unwoke Yaoi and CGS. They're investing everything once more, as we saw on the other side, but it's not quite coming through for them. They need these miracles to come back from Wubs, and they're not quite hitting as well as they were on those first and second objectives.
It's just not. You pop everything, right? This is exactly what we saw before. 5 meters to go, and Zenith don't have anything except for an override protocol coming online. But this window has to be everything. This window has to find a kill onto wildcard. Otherwise, we're going to be going to map number 5. The Wubs is trying their absolute best to get the job done here, but Unwoke just not going to be able to get any picks off of the other ults that they have on board. It's going to be 12 seconds left. They're going to be able to get a touch, sure, but it's going to be difficult for them to win this out. This window has to do everything.
Yeah, it really, really does. How You Are Good almost at another high noon here, but Wildcard already in the backline, making use of that sidearm to get round, but Viro's found the kill before the Override Protocol can find anything here. Suwail trying to do something, but no, High Noon in the back. The backstab from Hayua good finds two. An End and Waterloo taken down. Now there's no supports for Unwoke Yaoi, and surely they fall like a house of cards. Eventually it's all going to come tumbling down, and despite the best efforts of Wubs, it's not going to be the case that they are going to make it through this map. It is going to be a map 5 in this series, as Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast not quite able to get it across the line, and UTD Zenith forcing forwards, going to be forcing this map 5 in what has been a tight fight so far, and it feels like it wouldn't be justice to not go to a map 5 now.
No, I completely agree. I think this has to go to a map 5. Otherwise, what was it all for, right? At the end of the day. But now Unwoke going to have that map selection. They're going to be having that first ban also. So they could definitely try to go for something with that May composition they were running on that Servasa. Dude, I'm looking back at that fight for Unwoke with like a minute left. I don't know how they didn't win. I mean, the health bars were so low. There's no ults. They're just not able to get the job done. I don't know. It just... It's so difficult if you are Unwoke. You know, they're not running the more typical composition, so it's difficult for me to say where the issues lie. I mean, Wubs on that Hanzo, it's secured first point for them. I think if Wubs wasn't involved, wasn't in the lobby, I genuinely think that we would have been on map 5 a while ago. Wubs like pretty much killed 4 and allowed that first cap to come through. And then, I don't know, just too many ults committed at the very end, trying desperately. But they had time. Again, just another economic crash. It seems like we're full of them today. But I don't know. Now Unwoke gonna be in a map 5 position. Both of these teams fighting for their lives, as we're just gonna be waiting to see what the map is from Unwoke.
Yeah, I'm going to be waiting to see what they are going to pick as this final map. It is going to be push, and yeah, like you said, I feel like we'd be halfway through at least a push map by now if Wubs was not dragging them through that first objective, and to a lesser extent the second as well. Yeah, they were able to use the momentum that they had from that first objective to get other players going, but at the end of the day, it's the miracle kills that were getting them through. It wasn't something that you could rely upon as they headed into that final objective. It wasn't able to get them across the line because they weren't able to find those finishing blows from normal. Yeah, they were getting 100 to 0s off the back of Wubs, but the rest of the time, you're not finding those standard kills in those neutral fights to be able to take down those low targets. You're just missing that last little bit of damage to help draw it across the line, and just about Zenith able to stay alive and force this map 5, which I believe should be a push map. And the question is, which one is Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast going to go to? As we mentioned before, when we were questioning what Zenith were going to decide to do, there is a little bit less diversity, but it looks like we are going to be heading up to Canada for this final match, New Queen Street. And I mean, of course we're ending in NA. It's an NA match. We have to.
Okay, New Queen Street, gonna be the last one. I've been saying this for a while, and you know, despite how late it is, and despite the fact that I have an exam tomorrow, I think it'd be really funny if we did get a tie map here. It's technically possible. The way to tie on a push is if neither team touches the objective at the beginning, leaving them both at 0 meters, or if they both unlock, like they do like butt scratch and then don't touch it again. So like I do think it's possible to tie. Haven't been able to cast it yet, but it'd be kind of fun too, right? But we'll have to find out, of course, what the bans will be. It's going to be interesting to see what the solution is here. I mean, this could be a world in which maybe you see that ball come out to play from the side of nobody on the side of Unwoke, and maybe they do take out. Maybe this is the time where they take out that back line. They take away the Kiriko, the Lucio, in order to definitely make it more of an interesting situation. That Kiri Lucio hasn't been touched once yet. Maybe you take away the. They can't ban Emre. They could take a tank off the board. They haven't really been looking at tanks all too much except for Ramatra. That could be the choice.
I don't know. I feel like they're spoilt for choice here, and I mean that puts pay to some of the situations that they banned in these other maps. I mean, yeah, you took the honor off the board, but at the end of the day, your attack wasn't enough to get you over the line on that map. It's a very situational ban, so it doesn't really give you too much of a choice. So it does leave you 3 to pick basically whatever you want, but you can see the time ticking down. Eventually are going to go for this SIG and make sure that it's not going to be there for the side of UTD Zenith, but damage and support on the board here. I mean, we've seen Baptiste played from them pretty much every single map. Do you decide to take that away?
I think that's an option. I think that's definitely something that could come out. I mean, if you're gonna take BAP off the map, I mean, now's the time. And we're in the final map. There's gonna be no more bans after this. Maybe you take away some of the stronger options like that May. That could be something that we do see. I do think that Wubs will probably be running out on that. But I do think that BAP is it's a solid shout. I do agree with you in that regard. There's a lot of options for UTD Zenith, but it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to get the read considering how unconventional they can play. I mean, we've seen the Genji, we've seen the Mei, the Hanzo, I think we saw the Venture at one point, a lot of different DPS options. So it's going to be a little difficult for them to really, like, you know, pin down the DPS players. And the support might be a little bit easier for them to target. You know, you are right that Baptiste could be something, but they're going to... What?
Okay. Right. Okay. We saw Vira on the Tracer to start out. It's been a while since we've seen a Tracer on both sides, but it is going to be banned. Sigma on the other side is going to be taken off the board as well. I feel like... Oh, okay. It's a Hanzo ban. And I feel like, especially with the picks that were there, it's not too bad a situation. But
yeah, but that kind of forces Wubs over to the Mei now, and I'm low-key. I'm gonna be so honest with you. I don't like the Mei on new. I would rather have the Hanzo on New Queen than I would the Mei. I mean, Blizz. It feels like, despite the fact that Wubs is finding so many picks, it feels like Wubs on the Mei is more impactful in terms of team play, right? I mean, like, how are you gonna deal with a Blizzard if you're the side of Unwoke, or if you're the side of UTD Zenith? Excuse me. Like, what are you gonna do when they decide to just, you know, Blizzard your entire team and you don't have anything to stop from them finding 1 or 2 picks?
It feels like you're picking, do you want to fight Thanos on the Hanzo, or do you want to fight the Avengers with the help of Mei on the other side? And it looks like they've decided to fight the Avengers instead of fighting Hanzo in the hands of Wubs. And I mean, in all fairness, it was absolutely devastating on that matchup, but here as we go into the map, we'll see who is on the board for both sides, and we'll see whether that Wrecking Ball could come into play, as nobody could have switched in a couple of seconds. We should be able to know what is in store for these two teams as we head into the final map.
Yeah, you talked about you know Thanos on the Hanzo or the Avengers with the side of Mei. A little bit of spoilers for Avengers Endgame. The Avengers won, so you know that could be telling. That could be telling about how this map is going to go. We do see
Cloud Lemon's still in.
Okay, Cloud Lemon's still going to be in on that Zarya. We'll have to find out if that's going to be the solution. And Wub's on that Mei. So pretty similar to what we saw from them on the side of Servasta. And I mean, that went to all 5 flashpoints. UT Zenith going to be running that Brig Curie backline. Interesting to see how they're going to do without any speed. But they have a Tracer, they have a Diva. So we're going to have to find out if they need the speed with how fast their comp is played.
Absolutely. The cast on both sides as well. It's been a stalwart pick for both teams, so neither of them deciding to go for it. And Wildcard going on to this Tracer that we thought was going to be banned to start off with, but no, on the other side it is going to be Wubs going down a little bit low, having to force that wall just to make sure that you can stay alive. Cloud Lemon, though, finding High You Are Good, and the first pick going towards Unwoke Yaoi and CZS is going to help them massively as they take first control of TS1, and they force UTD Zenith back, and it looks like it's going to be a switch here from Suwail.
Yeah, we are going to be seeing them go back over that spawn, go over to the Zarya, but it's going to be difficult for them to play. Now it's going to be even harder for them to play this backline, right? You don't have a Lucio to speed your Zarya around. It was like kind of fine when you were on the Diva, because, you know, the Diva just has boosters and you don't really need to worry about things like that. But now it's going to be difficult even more so. So we'll have to find out if it's going to work out in their favor, or if we're going to see Colonel Sanders swap back over to that. Lucio could be an option, but they might actually be able to unlock this forward checkpoint. That would be devastating automatically.
Yeah, you can see Wildcard's throwing everything in, just giving up, making sure not to give up that forward spawn, but it's going to come through, and Wildcard falls down as well. This could be a quicker situation than we thought it might be if this snowball can continue to roll forwards. The snow on the side of the map is being taken out with every inch that Unwoke Yaoi can push forwards, and UTD Zenith really giving themselves a bad start to this map.
Yeah, I mean, so much meter has just gone the way of Unwoke. I mean, there's just a lot of options also for the side of Zenith in order what they want to pop here. Cloud Lemon, sure, is behind a little bit on that grab. There it is, going to be popped almost instantaneously, and Vero going to be taken off the board. But there's a Blizzard now, and what are you going to use in response? Oh, that's a high noon, actually, so that might make things a little bit more difficult.
Well, they're able to get 2 as well. Finding Cloud Lemon should stop the push in its tracks. Last one alive going to be Waterlily, trying to take out Colonel Sanders in the backline as the switch over to the Ana Kiri now. Going to be a lot of healing in this matchup, but you can see 3 ults still on the other side for Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiasts. Going to be difficult to get anywhere forwards past this middle checkpoint.
Yeah, they're going to be able to take away forward spawn, but like that's going to probably be it. I mean, they're going to be able to recontest. They have a grab, and there's no answer. What, you going to rush inside of it? That'd be the stupidest play of all time. I mean, they're looking for it. They're looking for it hard. There's the rush coming through, but not going to be able to find anything just yet. Is actually Waterlily going to be taken out first, making it a little bit easier.
Yeah, but you lose the tank to Wubs, and now it feels like you're on the back foot. They're able to get a couple more kills as well here on Yaoi Enthusiasts, and like we said, it's just going to let them get back to this middle point and take that forward spawn off the board, but surely it gets re-upped here now as End goes back to take Waterlily back to this objective.
Yeah, they might not be able to get any more meters, but they do take that forward spawn back, and that's something that's so critical to think about. I mean, they're going to be able to find another engagement here. This high noon is the only thing unlocked for Vero, and Zenith don't have anything. They're going to be close to an Anno, sure, but it is a little bit of a percentage away, and I mean, they're going to be running this Reaper Zarya composition as per usual. There's the high noon from Vero, looking to try to get something done. I mean, there's Zarya. Oh, Colonel Sanders dies?
They're able to trade out onto Vero, but losing Suwail is going to be a bitter sting in the tail. Wubs chasing down now, trying to take down Wildcard on this Reaper. Eventually does fall, and they're pushing forwards once again here. It's getting over 100 meters. If you subscribe to the Avril lore here, it looks like it's going in the favor of Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiasts as they still push forwards now. New Queen Streak, definitely their territory at the moment. We'll see if UTD Zenith can get back in. Now that amplification matrix is going to force them into a deficit here. Nano invested onto Suwail, and now here comes the grab. It's devastating, but they've used 3 ults to get there. And even though they win out that team fight, it's such a big mountain for them to climb with 5 minutes 40 seconds left on the clock.
Says Blizzard, what are you going to do if you're Zenith? High noon? Like, there's nothing that they can do. I guess they're going to have to save their bubbles. So if you force bubbles out, if you're the side of Unwoke, and then you pop that Blizzard, that should just be a fight win. You don't need to use anything else. I mean, then you're gonna have a grab coming up online next, and automatically a pick is like that is oh goodness gracious.
Yeah, you don't need Blizzard in this situation. You've already taken down 2, and it's 2 of the biggest hitters on the other side. Wildcard able to find 1, and same with High, you are good, but at the end of the day, it's only going to be cosmetic picks as a couple of players sent back to the spawn door, but with one of them being N, they are going to get back fairly quickly. And the other thing that happened is they were able to make sure they got forward spawn here.
Yeah, they're going to have to back up yet again. And I mean, that's what Unwoke is going to be comfortable doing. They have this massive lead. They don't need to keep getting more meterage. They don't have to get greedy. They just make sure they have that forward spawn. They force Zenith to get another fight win, and then they come back with ults. I mean, they're going to be having that grab. They're going to be having that Blizzard. What are you going to do here if you're Zenith? You don't have any ult charge. There it is. It's going to be a Blizzard chucked into that backline. Is it going to find anybody, actually? Doesn't look like it. Oh, the Colonel Sanders is down.
Yeah, this Ana's just not been able to get away, and with the speed from the Lucio, they're just able to get onto the backline so quickly. Wildcard going to be the last one to fall in this fight. Actually, no, Who Dare going to be the final one to go, but you can see the grab beat High Noon still here for Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiasts. They might be able to capture this entirely if they do want to. Here comes the grab, and it's a big one. Gets 3. They try to rush into it, but 2 found with that High Noon, and now with the beat, the overhealth's just going to be too much for them. It is going to be secured for Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiasts. They are going to be going through to take on Dire Triggers in that lower bracket semi-final. Unfortunately, this is going to be the end of the lower bracket run for UTD Zenith. A valiant fight, but in the end, New Queen Streak completely under the control of the Yaoi Enthusiasts.
You know, I was kind of wishing that the series was a little bit more back and forth. You know, we had all 5 maps, and so I was expecting this last one to be closer. But that was a little bit more of a whimper and less of a howl or a scream from Zenith. You know, they kind of got crushed a little bit on New Queen Street. They definitely don't thrive in those brawl kind of compositions, but that is going to be the end of the road for Zenith, and Unwoke going to be going against, you said it was Dire Triggers, right? Yeah, Dire Triggers.
Yes.
Yeah, so they'll be able to go against Dire Triggers, and then the winner of that will be able to go against, I believe, did Shoes Production Crew already play their game, or no?
I believe that has not happened yet, so it's going to be
No.
the loser of that game that's going to go down to the lower bracket.
It's on Saturday.
And it's happening on Saturday, apparently, so bit of an update for you there, but yeah, this bracket really heating up as we're getting towards the tail end of these Season 17 playoffs in every single CGL league, and my word, did it heat up here. Eventually, yeah, you said ends off with a little bit of a whimper, but UTD Zenith able to force the full 5 maps, and I think they've got to be proud of the lower bracket run that they went on.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, Zenith, they were the number 4 seed. It was a little bit of a challenge for them coming in, and you know they started off not really hot. They automatically got sent down to the lower bracket, already in a fight for their lives, and then they won 3 matches in a row in the lower bracket, gonna get stopped by Unwoke, who are the number 2 seed. I mean, you know, if Zenith did win this, it would have been another upset for them. So you know, they put up a good fight. They took us all to 5 maps. That last one, not the closest, but it's not about how the maps went. I mean, you know, I think Zenith, a team with a lot of potential, and I think if they decide to come back for next season, they can definitely prove themselves to be one of those top teams in this division.
Yeah, absolutely. Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts coming in as well with these interesting compositions. I believe we should be going to a quick break to set up some interviews with these teams and see how they are faring before we look further on into this playoff bracket. But for now, going to be right back. Stay tuned with us. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back with us at CGL. After a banging series, we are joined by Slaying Beast from the Unwoke Yaoi enthusiast. How are you doing after that series?
Oh man, I gotta catch my breath, but pretty good. That was a good series.
Absolutely. The full 9 yards taken, but taken by your team eventually. And first, I mean, we've got to give a shout out to Wubs bringing everything to the table and more. How much does this player mean to your squad?
I'll say this: if anyone is still arguing who the MVP of Masters Tier should be, I can't say anything else. It has to be Wubs. This guy is the best player in Masters Tier for DPS, and it's not even close.
Get those votes in. I think they're still live. Get the votes in now. You've heard it here.
I'm gonna be so honest. Can I vote? Because I want to vote also. I completely agree. This is going absolutely nuclear. I did want to ask you guys. I mean, this went the full series. We did go to 5 maps, even though there was a little bit of technical difficulties on that 4th one. But it seemed like their poke composition was really giving you guys trouble. Their Sigma just kind of being able to shut down whatever you guys were planning. I mean, Cloud Lemon definitely had a hard time trying to match that Sigma on Havana, on Numbani. And so I just kind of want to ask, is poke normally an issue for you guys, or was this just kind of their poke was just incredibly good, and other teams shouldn't rely on that in the future?
I'm not going to be giving away some trade secrets. I'd say poke is probably one of our better comps in general, so it was actually kind of surprising to see a team keep up with us. But when we were doing VOD reviews, the thing I tried to tell my team was that this team is extremely disciplined. Like UTD in their last match full held on Havana, which is hard to do. And I thought they looked really, really good on poke, so I knew coming in they'd be good at poke, but they were even better than even I could have prepared for. So they're definitely a very good team.
Yeah, and speaking of very good team, you guys already know your next matchup. It is going to be going up against Dire Triggers in losers round number 5. What are your guys? I know it hasn't been very long since this win, but I do want to kind of ask, what are your guys' thoughts about going against Dire Triggers in your next series? Are you guys feeling confident? Are the coaching works already working in your head? Is there plans that you guys are going to be thinking about? What's kind of going on within the team when it comes to facing Dire Triggers?
I'm gonna be very honest. We already kind of knew Dire was gonna win. No shade to Cosmic, but we've been kind of preparing for that. So I think we should be ready to go, and hopefully it'll be a really good series as well. But I know that there's some drama and some beef between Mirage and Cloud, so it should be interesting to see how that matchup goes.
Oh, well, you heard it here first. You're not going to want to miss that matchup. But final question before we give you some shout outs and let you go and enjoy that win that you've just seen your team get through. We've seen some interesting compositions from your team. And as a coach, sometimes it can be difficult to handle players that don't really play as much of the meta. We saw the Hanzo, the Mei, and the backline as well wasn't exactly what you'd expect if you were just looking for meta. How has it been for you to coach this team and get them into a situation where you still feel like they're in a really good spot for the playoffs, even with the differences that you see from what you'd usually expect?
To just say it briefly, our team is extremely good at adapting, and their ability to read how people play and how the enemy team wants to operate is way further than I could have expected when coming into meeting them. So while we play some different things that aren't exactly hard meta, I think as long as we play to our strengths and continue to stay confident in who we are and our identity, that we can beat any team as long as we stick to who we are.
Absolutely. Well, we'll give you a bit of time now for some shout outs before you get over to planning out your next match versus Dire Triggers. So anyone you want to shout out in particular?
I'll shout out obviously you all and the observers. Appreciate the cast and everyone for supporting us so far, as well as UTD. Really good game. I really didn't expect all that, but you guys are really talented, and I know you guys are going to go far if you play next season or wherever you play next. But now to glaze my own team, everyone vote for UIE for all role stars. It's pretty obvious that this team's the best, so vote.
Well, a glowing review of both teams there in that situation. We're going to let you go now, Slaying, and we're going to bring in a couple of UTD Zenith players to talk about their overall run during this season. Can be joined here by Hi You Are Good and Suel from UTD Zenith. How are you guys doing?
Hi.
I'm doing
Doing very good. Doing very
How are
good.
you doing? Bro, what is wrong with you, bro?
Yeah, my fault. My fault.
Come on, bro.
Well, firstly, commiserations on going out of the bracket, but you guys held strong and took it the full 9 yards, as well as coming through this lower bracket in a couple of difficult games that you guys have proven that you're really tough. How has your mindset been going through this lower bracket?
You want to go, Nor?
Yeah, I'll go. I'd say we were pretty good, honestly. I think the loss to Cosmic kind of turned us around. We kind of, after that loss to Cosmic and sending us down in the losers bracket, we kind of started to play better as a team and like kind of doing VOD reviews and stuff like that, and just kind of working around that. And I feel like overall we just, we had it going really well until they kind of banned Sigma, and then they pulled out the Mei, Zarya, and they kind of just ran us down. But overall, I'd say our mindset was pretty good.
Yeah, we definitely started playing with a lot more confidence going forward in these loser bracket games.
Yeah, I think that you guys did provide a really dominant performance in that lower bracket run. I mean, you guys have been there for quite a while now, and I do want to ask, in this matchup between Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast, they didn't really run traditional comps, right? They ran the Hanzo, they ran the Mei, they had a BAP Zen backline, and so I kind of have to ask, you guys haven't faced these opponents before, so how was it, kind of matching up against them for the first time, knowing that they weren't going to be going those meta picks? Was it difficult because you haven't practiced against it, or were you guys like, being like, oh, they're just gonna run off meta stuff, we'll just deal with it when it arrives?
Well, on Nepal, a lot of it was just trying to figure out how we're gonna handle that pressure, because that's a lot of poke, right? Zen, BAP plus Kree, and anytime Monkey tries to, because we were playing Monkey on Nepal, so anytime Monkey tries to jump in, he just gets discorded, poked out before we can jump in. So I don't think it's something that we can't handle, but it did kind of, I guess, catch us off guard. I don't know if you want to add on to that, Nor.
Yeah, I do want to ask one question before I do let you go back with Avalanche, and they'll ask their question. It's really simple. Will you guys be back for next season of CGL?
Oh,
That's a good question.
So, I'll be honest with you. We both tried out for the UTD team, and we didn't make it. So
Got
this was like
cooked.
our only other option. This is our only other option. But the tank is leaving for UTD next semester, so I will be trying out for that. And if I don't make it, I will stay here for sure. My goal is to hopefully hit GM, so I won't be in this season or this bracket rank, whatever. But yes, my plan is I will be back if I don't make the team. So yeah,
We will be back.
we will be back.
Absolutely great to hear from you guys. But looking forwards in this bracket, I know you guys unfortunately not going to be there now, but do you guys have a favorite going into the rest of this? Obviously, you've played up against a fair few of these teams now. Who do you guys think is going to win out this tournament?
So I would say my favorite is probably Cosmic. I mean, they were kind of hyping us up a lot of our games, even though they beat us. But I was really hoping they would win, but unfortunately they kind of lost today 3-0. So in my honest opinion right now, I think Shu's gonna win it all. I think they're a really good team. What team did we play against? No shade. What did we play against today?
We played against Yaoi's Enthusiasts this game.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be both.
They beat Shoes though in midseason. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be them in the finals though, and I think overall, I think Shu's gonna come out on top. That's my honest opinion.
Okay, well, we'll see if that goes through. But just before you guys go, unfortunately, having left us for this season, we're going to give you the chance to have a few shout outs. So anyone you want to shout out before you leave us?
And I want to shout out my supports, always keeping us alive, the backbone of our team. I want to shout out, of course, Mr. Sowell over here, MVP. I think he's nominated too, so y'all should go vote him.
No, don't vote me, bro.
I was surprised I even got nominated for DPS.
Okay, keep shouting out, bro. They don't have time for you to ramp.
Oh, shit. Well, who are you going to shout out, bro? Shout out
Whoa, dude. Whoa, language. You got it.
Oh, sorry.
Come on, dude. That's too far. Come on.
Menasai.
Okay, you're done shouting out. I want to shout out, obviously, the UTD team. I feel like overall, we played really good together. I mean, we lost our main support in week 3, so it was kind of challenging. Obviously, you guys saw me go back and forth between support and tank, so that was kind of hard. But shout out my UTD team. Definitely not shout out my coach. My coach was not there since week 3, so definitely not shout out him. And shout out my parents, because they enforced, they kind of got me my first job, and now I bought my PC, so I was able to play.
Oh, and also one more shout out God, because God did.
You're an embarrassment.
Okay, well, UTD Zenith there. A last stand, but not quite enough to take down Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts. Are going to be leaving us here at CGL, unfortunately. But hopefully, as you heard from them, back, whether it's on this UTD team or some of the players will be back somewhere else. But for right now, this is ending off a very bumper day for CGL, as this 2-3 scoreline took us through a couple of the other games that were going on. So, I mean, my word, has there been a hell of a lot of games. I think there was about 5 today that we went through, 4 in NA and 1 in Europe as well. So, oh, okay, we're still going. We're raiding CGL1 after this, so keep it tuned here if you want some more CGL action. But for now, with us and the UTD Zenith and Unwoke Yaoi enthusiasts, it's going to be me and Mega Ninja 44 signing off. So do stay tuned if you want to see some more CGL action, as we are going to be heading over to CGL1 to see the final results of the day. But thank you for joining us once again, and see you soon.